now that it's live, y'all.
You already said it.
You know Mario Kart. Bowser. No, it's Bowser.
I just want to see y'all balance on those little tiny tricycles because they're kids' tricycles too. Meanwhile, it's always a good time when Clemson and NC State get together, and it's always fun in Raleigh as well. Last 20 seasons, I guess, depending on who you're pulling for. Clemson 16-2 against NC State. Both of those two losses have come when they're playing at Carter-Finley Stadium. EJ, let's start with Clemson, and obviously we were all there for the you guys were there, I wasn't there anymore, for the 2 overtime loss to Miami last week. What does Clemson need to clean up that you saw late in that game?
Yeah, late in the game, I felt like the front 7, mainly the front 4, they got pushed around. And Miami does have an excellent offensive line. That's something that Coach Cristobal, their head coach, has really been harping on for, I guess 8 months now, off season coming into this season. But at this point, when I watch Clemson, they got big dudes. Ruka, he runs off the field. I'm like, man, this guy looks like an NFL player. But they got to play like it. And I think late in the game, they seemed like they got tired. I don't know if it was the humidity or the South Beach or what it was. But that's what I'm looking forward to see, can this defense respond and really hold it down against NC State? Because last time NC State played, they only put up 3 points in a football game. So this should be a layup for the Tigers.
Yeah, and I'm just like, you got to run the ball. I mean, you got 2 of the best backs in the ACC in the country. And you run the ball for 31 yards. Combine that, 20 carries. I just don't understand that. So they got to get back to running the ball and then find a way to use Tyler Brown. I mean, he didn't get involved enough, right? Jake Brenningstool came along. I love to see that. But Tyler Brown is really the guy that could bust this thing wide open, the explosive playmaker that you need, that Cade has been needing in this offense. We saw it early in the season. So try to get him rolling. And then Antonio Williams. I know he's back in the lineup, and you're trying to find the right mix with those guys. Figuring that out is going to be the key for them.
Everything that y'all just said centers around one thing. The offensive line has to play better. The run game, it's been almost embarrassing not being able to score in short yardage, not being able to score on the goal line, moving and converting to get first downs. This has to happen. These guys have to take this personally from a Clemson perspective. I don't care if you're a freshman and you have to play. I don't care if this is one of your first times getting out there. It is a privilege to wear that paw on your helmet, and you need to understand what's at task here. Those guys have to do better and protect Cade. Ruben Bain, a true freshman, had double-digit pressures. That cannot happen. You have to eliminate that. Put a tight end, chip, help out with a running back. Just make adjustments in the game. He was teeing off all day.
And we know NC State has a werewolf, too. Peyton Wilson.
A couple of them.
So he's going to be
Brown.
Van up in the 3 techniques. So I think for Clemson's offensive line, it is adamant to make sure they have an eye on Peyton Wilson, but also hold their point for at least 2 or 3 seconds.
I mean, Cade's got to play better as well.
No question.
We talked about everybody else, but Cade's got to play better because NC State on 3rd down, they're the best defense we have. So they're going to pressure him and make him make right decisions today.
2 defenses that are really good, 2 offenses still trying to figure things out. Don't forget, NC State coming off of that bye. The week before that, they only managed just 3 points in that game against Duke. What will they be able to do and get going offensively?
Let's do a quick pick here on the one that sort of falls out in the Netherlands of TV today. You'll have to look to find Clemson and NC State.
I'm not sure about Clemson, man. Still trying to figure out who this team is. So I'm going with the Wolfpack. Coming off a bye, too, so I'm going NC State.
Wow, that's huge. Dabo's looking for the CW. I think we all are. But give me Clemson getting a massive win over Coach Corso's NC State Superdog. Yeah. We miss you, Coach.
Look, Clemson has been struggling. They're not the Clemson we've loved over the years. But NC State, unfortunately, they're waiting for basketball to start.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Clemson, how about the end of the Clemson game last week? They're in overtime against Miami. They don't get it done. Media asked Dabo Swinney about it. He said, hey, Cade should have handed it off. He was very blunt about that, in public about that. Anxious to see how Clemson comes back this week. I think they'll come together. I think they'll play well. I think they get the win.
The following is a presentation of CW Sports.
Football on the CW is presented by Verizon. My Plan, the plan for fans. It is homecoming in Raleigh, North Carolina, as the NC State Wolfpack host the Clemson Tigers here at Carter-Finley Stadium in Raleigh. It is so great to have you with us for ACC football on the CW. Tom Wormy along with James Bates, Trevor Scales will join us from the sidelines in just a moment. Hey, James, it's a crossroads game for both of these teams. 4-3 records and a lot to play for both of them in the ACC.
Yeah, a lot to play for. I know it's two teams, two programs, fan bases that are used to being in the top 25, playing for championship after championship, Clemson fans. But at the end of the day, it's a rivalry game. It's a trophy game. It's a textile bowl. Out there playing hard and playing good football today.
And either way, one of these head coaches is going to make history today. We'll start with Dave Doran. He could tie Earl Edwards for career victories in school history. Coach Edwards, a 5-time ACC champ, and across the way, Dabo Swinney in his 15th complete season could go past the legend Frank Howard. 30 years the head coach of the Tigers. And Dabo Swinney, how about this additional layer? His teams have not lost back-to-back games in the same season since November of 2011. So there is a lot to play for today. He's got a starting quarterback in Cade Klubnik, played so well in the ACC title game a season ago. He's been solid, but there have been a lot of mistakes as well.
He could be a lot better than solid. He could be great one day. He's got to play within the system. You know, you go back and you turn on that Miami tape in the loss. He throws a beautiful deep ball with some touch. He's really fast. He's just got to take care of the football. Not just him, but all of those Clemson Tigers. It has been such an issue. -1 in turnover ratio back to FSU. Late September, Clemson a chance to take it up, 2 touchdowns going into the 4th quarter. Here comes Kalen DeLoach, puts a pop on Klubnik. He'll scoop his own ball up 56 yards later. It's a tie football game. FSU, of course, goes on to win that one in Death Valley. Just a week ago, Miami, late in the 1st quarter. Shipley going in, going to score the first points of the game at 0-0. No fumbles before crossing the plane. Miami, 1 play later, would take it 80 yards, and they're up 7-0 instead of the other way around. They've got to take care of that rock.
A double overtime loss for the Tigers against the Canes. It is the 91st all-time meeting. Clemson and NC State on the CW.
I give it all that I got.
We're back in Raleigh for our game of the ACC as we go down to the field and Trevor Scales.
Here with head coach Dabo Swinney. Coach, how do you get a win in a loud, raucous environment like this one?
Well, you just got to, do the little things right. Got to stand on the basics, got to really have great poise and focus. It's a great crowd, great environment, tough place to win.
You know they're going to pressure Cade Klubnik. How do you keep them upright?
Well, we got to communicate well. They're a really good team from a pressure standpoint. So we got to all communicate, be on the same page, and then we got to make plays.
I dig it, Coach. Best of luck.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Fellas.
Thank you, Trevor. 15th full season for Dabo Swinney. Across the way, Dave Doran in his 11th season. 76 wins. As we mentioned just a moment ago, he can tie Earl Edwards for most wins in program history. As James Bates said at the top of our broadcast, it is an unbelievably perfect day for college football. 82 degrees. Some light breezes. I love the one at the bottom. 0 chance of rain, 100% chance of sunshine here in Raleigh, North Carolina, as NC State won the toss and elected to defer.
Nobody loves that more than Trevor Scales down there. He's had some rain over the fall. His fans got to like it too.
Shipley will be deep, along with Maffa. 4 of the Tigers, 4-3 on the season, 2-3 in conference play, and coming off of that loss at Miami in double overtime, 28-20. NC State had the bye week last week, lost October 14th at number 17 Duke, 24-3. Colin Smith will kick it away. The ACC on the CW, and it's into the end zone. So we get our first look at Cade Klubnik, 6'2", 205, and a sophomore from Austin, Texas.
I wake up every day with a joy that I get to play football. That was one thing I wrote down from our talk with him on the Zoom call on Working Man's Wednesday, as Dabo Swinney calls it. Enjoyed our visit with him. Won 3 state titles back in Austin's Westlake High School, Austin, Texas, and high school that Drew Brees went to.
First down for the Tigers. Shipley into the line. And only one. All right, let's take a look at today's Impact Players, brought to you by Walmart. Walmart does just have everything for the holidays. We have your thing. Welcome to your Walmart.
How about Brentwood, Tennessee's Jake Brenningstool? What a night he had down in Miami. 5 catches, 126 yards, 2 touchdowns, some great catches. Well, you know all about Shipley. Shipley and Maffa both have to have a big day in that backfield for the Tigers.
Brenningstool set a school record for yardage by a tight end. That is Stellato. He's driven back up to the 29. He got 3 of the pass play. Peyton Wilson on the tackle. Here's today's Impact Players, brought to you by Walmart. Pack on D.
Yeah, how can I leave Peyton Wilson off of these Impact Players? You can't. That's right. You all know about him, but you can't. Probably the hardest working man in college football right now. And Sean Brown, just a sophomore, has filled in, done a great job. He's going to be a great one as well. So 3rd down and 6 now for Klubnik in the Tiger offense.
44% on 3rd down of the season. 5th in the conference. Got it away. There's room to run for Stellato. First down. Head up to midfield, and a flag came out behind the play.
I think this is going to come back with a hold late. I was just about to compliment those receivers blocking downfield.
Holding. Offense, number 80. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. They're down.
That is the junior Bo Collins. What a play dialed up there by offensive coordinator Garrett Riley. And great job executing it by Klubnik, because Tony Gibson, this defensive coordinator for NC State, brought everybody. The pressure was there, but able to dump it off to Stellato. So one more time. Here's your 3rd down attempt.
Penalty negating a 22-yard gain for the Tigers. From the 31, Garrett Riley, first year offensive coordinator. And now 3rd and 4. Klubnik got the pass away, deflected in the air, bounced around. Couple of players had a chance at it. It falls to the turf. Incomplete, looking for Shipley.
This time they go coverage, only bring 3. Plenty of time, but outstanding coverage there in the secondary. Aiden White, both Aiden White and Shaheem Battle, outstanding corners. And guess who almost had an interception? He's just around the football. Peyton Wilson, that one almost knocked into his hands. Instead, it's a 3 and out. And they force a punt on Clemson's opening drive.
Brenningstool unable to hang on. This punt checks up near the 45. So that'll be excellent field position for NC State off the punt of Aiden Swanson. It was only 24 yards and it's spotted at the NC State 45-yard line.
So we saw that shot over on the sidelines of Dave Doran. Complimentary football. You hear it a lot, and you hear it seems like even more from him as his quarterback, MJ Morris, will head out there and run the show. Here's a chance. Your defense inspired, had a great 3 plays, got him off the field. Let's see if the offense can do something as well.
As Allen trying to work his way up the middle for a minimal gain, maybe 2. Officially 3 for Allen. Opening stages of our first quarter. Thomas had the tackle for Clemson. Morris completed 24 passes on 40 tries for 193 yards and an interception in the loss October 14th at Duke. 24-3. In fact, NC State scored the first 3 points of the game. Never got back on the scoreboard. Right side and Allen. And he crosses over into Tiger territory. So here are today's Impact Players, brought to you by Walmart for NC State.
Well, and Allen can be explosive. We saw that back in the Marshall game. They need some more explosive runs. He's got him in a pretty good spot here on 3rd down and short. And of course, KC Concepcion, Robert Anai. That's a nice chess piece for him to have out there on the board. The youngster has been all over the field. Will take the handoff as well.
41% on third down is 8th in the conference for NC State. Third and short for Morris. Trying to buy a little time and escapes the pocket. Flings it. Incomplete. It was knocked down. Looking for Porter Rooks. The Tigers, Jalen Phillips knocked it away, James.
Yeah, and a good job by Morris to buy himself some time. But it also gives enough time for Jalen Phillips. That ball, of course, well out of the break. Looking for Rooks, and Jalen Phillips, just as NC State did on defense, able to get in there and break up the third down, try and force a punt.
Clemson is the top defense in the conference. This is Green. He'll accept it at the 12-yard line. That's where the Tigers will start, 37 yards on the punt from Newcastle. This is the ACC on the CW. ACC football on the CW is brought to you by Verizon. My plan, the plan for fans. That is the NC State women's cross-country team. They're champs in the ACC in the fall. 29th time in program history that they have won that title, so congrats to them.
Just honored the NC State women's swimming and diving team. Brayden Holloway does a fantastic job with that swimming team.
Second possession of the game for the Tigers, deep in their own territory. Shipley with 2 yards on the rush. Jalen Scott, the senior from Shelby, North Carolina. Tackle of Shipley.
A couple run stuffs here early for a Wolfpack defense that all they've heard about since that Duke game is gap discipline. Be in those gaps. Don't try to do too much. You know, a big deal has been made about Clemson offensively, and of course, Cade Klubnik maybe trying to do too much at the end of that Miami game. Same thing goes defensively here. Just got to play within the scheme, within the system.
NC State 4th against the rush this season. That ball bouncing around near the 10. Went out of bounds. So that'll bring up third down very quickly for the Tigers. And defensive coordinator Tony Gibson for NC State.
Been here for a few years now. A few years at West Virginia before coming down to Raleigh. He's got a pretty good spot now right here for his defense to dial something up. We saw him bring the house, which would have been costly had it not been for the holding penalty last time out. Let's see what he does right here. Looks like they're walking back out of it.
That last play was ruled an incomplete pass. Here's third down for Klubnik from the pocket, got rid of it over the middle, and the diving attempt past the 25-yard line and caught for first down yardage, and it's number 9. Jake Brenningstool with the grab for 14 yards.
Yeah, number 9 just keeps on coming. Klubnik as he's getting hit. And how about the focus by Brenningstool? Runs that route, knows where he is on the field, breaks it off where he's got the first down, has to go down and secure it. Fresh set of downs for the Tigers.
24 catches this season for Brenningstool. Third best on the team as Shipley runs it up. It's a solid gain on first down. Shipley got 9, finding some daylight on this sunny day in Raleigh. Savion Jackson with the tackle for NC State, number 9.
Good job there by Shipley. Runs up into the back of one of his offensive linemen. It's the patience and the feel around him. Get what you can. Don't get dropped for a loss. Don't get dropped right at that line of scrimmage. Get me what you can. And what he can right there is a first down, 10 yards.
Yeah, they adjusted that spot. Awarded the first down to Klubnik. A little bit of a play fake. That one sails up near the 40 and intercepted. Devin Boykin, the interception for NC State.
Boykin using that bye week to heal up a little bit. The pressure's going to get here late on. Klubnik throws it way too high for Brenningstool, and sitting on it is Devin Boykin. He's been banged up way back to that UVA game. There he is with the turnover bone. Gibson says he wants some dogs over there on the defensive side of the ball, so they're awarded a bone when they come up with the turnover.
There's some grass on the edge. Concepcion down the sideline. Concepcion
times an offensive coordinator will select going up top after the turnover. Going up top in this form is just handing it to one of the speediest guys in the conference and just a freshman, Casey Concepcion. He gets to that edge in a hiccup, gets it turned, and it's off to the races. Clemson lucky they can knock him out of bounds. And now here, right at the 10 and in, NC State has been just about perfect. 12 for 12 scoring. 11 times they've scored touchdowns.
Just the 6th carry of the season for Concepcion. That inside the 10, Brennan Armstrong was in the formation offensively for NC State. Concepcion, James got 50 yards on the run, and then they hand it to number 5 for a short gain.
Brennan Armstrong back in there. If you haven't seen a lot of Wolfpack football this season, it was, of course, Armstrong's show early on, transferring back to be with his longtime offensive coordinator at UVA, Robert Anai. He left and went to Syracuse. Armstrong was at Virginia last year before transferring down here for his last season.
Concepcion was in there. Raphael got the call and lost 1. So after that big chunk run of 50 yards by Concepcion, short gains, and now 3rd down. Coming up for NC State after the interception just a moment ago by Devin Boykin, his first of the season, 9th of the year for the defensive unit for NC State. James, here's 3rd and goal.
Yeah, and it's a big one. It'll be a big victory here. After that sudden change, giving up the big play, if Clemson can somehow get a stop. Got to be careful with the wheels of M.J. Morris, too, in an empty set. They've got everybody walked up on him.
From the 9, Morris rolls it right, throws open man into the end zone, and the touchdown. Casey Concepcion, 9 yards on the pass.
Well, there you have it. Complimentary football right after the turnover, a score. Casey Concepcion, he accounts for almost 30% of North Carolina State's receptions. You better find him down near the goal line. You better find him on 3rd down. Clemson unable to, and NC State drawing first blood.
5th receiving TD of the season, Concepcion, and 5th TD pass of the year, M.J. Morris, who had 4 against Marshall.
Rolling out, just an easy pitch and catch, and it's 7-0, just like that, Pat.
Some well-deserved liquid refreshment for Casey Concepcion. James, the drive was 60 yards. He accounted for 59 of those yards.
And again, just a freshman. He was so good early in the season, starting since the beginning of the year, since the opener, that, hey, we can't just throw him the football. We've got to hand it off to him. So jet sweeps, and as we've already seen today, what we saw against Duke, handing it off to him from a running back position. And he's a heck of a runner running downhill between the tackles.
Shipley watched it go into the end zone for the Tigers. Tuesday on Inside the NFL, the guys take a look back to see if the Jags stayed hot versus the Steelers. Plus, did the 49ers get back on track against the Bengals? Find out on Inside the NFL. Tuesday, 8/7 Central only on the CW, hosted by Ryan Clark.
How about that? Halloween coming around Tuesday, you see it? Daniel LaRusso and Johnny. Fear does not exist in this dojo, does it? What's the answer to that? No sensei would have been the proper answer.
Okay.
Defeat. Wow. That'll take you back right there.
See what Klubnik and the Tigers can come up with here in response to the Concepcion TD grab from Morris. Looking for Bo Collins, number 80. Shaheem Battle is back there, James, number 7.
Yeah, Battle's been fun to watch. He's a battler. Fitting name for the cornerback. Interception in the tight one here, the loss against Louisville. He had an interception early in that Duke game as well. Incomplete first down, so here's stab at it on 2nd.
Maffa. He's rumbling his way past the 35-yard line and a first down out to the 37, 12 yards for Phil Maffa, the junior from Loganville, Georgia.
Yeah, pretty good 1-2 with Shipley and Maffa. We saw last time out Shipley run 10 yards for that first down, and after the incomplete pass, I mean, Clemson looking pretty good the last few carries on the ground. Good job by Will Putnam, the center, and that whole offensive line up front.
How about Maffa? Averages over 6 yards per carry. That's Tyler Brown. There is no gain of play. Brown slow to get up. Maybe some of that natural grass surface kicked up into the face mask.
Had some guys banged up out there. A great job defensively, Tom, by 8 right there. Robert Kennedy refusing to get blocked and just fighting with all he had to get back outside and to make that tackle.
Lubnick looking left all the way. Juggling grab at the 40. Spector made it. They got 5 yards. Trevor, Clemson trying to respond after that NC State TD, Trev.
One way, bring 2 big linemen back the other, and the running back is able to fall right in line. Hopefully that counter run game continues to work for them as they try to progress down the maybe.
Trev brings up a 3rd and 5 for the Tigers. The crowd is loud. Defense all over Klubnik. He avoided the pressure, and then the pass is too high. Trying to find Stellato on the edge, and his 4th down Tigers. Aiden White in coverage for NC State.
Aiden White back there in coverage, but just about everybody else, I'm sure it felt like for Klubnik, in the face of the quarterback for Clemson. The twists have not been handled very well by this offensive lineman. The game's up front, but here's a blitz, and then you've got to clean it up. And feeling that heat of Peyton Wilson there late on the edge, and just throwing this away and punting it away.
Swanson punts. Jalen Coit wants the fair catch. He's 2nd in the conference in punt return average, almost 14 yards per punt. Makes the fair catch for NC State with a 7-0 lead after the 48-yard punt.
Oh, flaming it up. Welcome back to Raleigh. Hey, wait a minute. This isn't F-Boy Island. All right, here we go. What's so funny about the world ending? Well, it turns out quite a bit. Critics are raving about the hot new end of times comedy, Everybody Else Burns. Watch a new episode Thursday at 9:30, 8:30 Central, and stream free the next day on the CW app. Everyone Else Burns, then F-Boy Island, right? Oh, man.
And then on Tuesday, season finale of The Swarm.
Well, you know, Saturdays are the best.
Okay.
Right here. You can't beat this.
Saturday afternoon, ACC on the CW, incomplete. Worst field position so far for NC State. Today's Impact Players brought to you by Walmart. Clemson on defense.
Yeah, speaking of young players making big plays, like on that NC State offense, DJ Parker, the freshman out of Phoenix City, Alabama, has been spectacular. And Nate Wiggins doing a great job, as he always had there at that cornerback spot for Clemson. Together, they need to put some pressure on MJ Morris and try to keep the ball out of the hands of number 10.
Closing in on the 5-minute mark of the first half, 7-0 NC State. Morris trying to dump it off. And Concepcion went down just past the 10-yard line. There is no gain on the play. Well, we saw evidence of this. Coach Doran calling Concepcion a baller, James. That was the term that he used for Concepcion. He ran the ball and then caught the touchdown pass in the previous drive for NC State.
Well, and we asked him the question, you know, if it was easy for a wide receiver with all that speed to just take handoffs all the time, you see it a whole lot more, but you got to be just that. You got to be special, and you got to be a baller to be able to run between the tackles, not just on those jet sweeps. Here's a big 3rd down for this defense.
Need something special here. Cluttered pocket. Morris comes out of it, and they track him down. Well short of the marker. Okuba making the tackle for Clemson, just a 2-yard gain, and the Tigers will get the ball back.
The blitz was there, and it forced MJ out of the pocket. And Makuba not giving up on it. He's going to turn and burn and finally run down Morris. Makuba in there, of course, R.J. Mickens, the safety, appendectomy. Early this week, had some stomach issues, played in that Miami game, but he's out for a while. I hope he's getting better.
Punt from Noonkester. Shipley meets it, 45-yard line, and he hangs on. So a 42-yard punt from Caden Noonkester, the sophomore. So Will Shipley, the veteran, in the backfield, and on special teams, punt and kick returns for the Tigers, who have had a lot of success in this series recently, James. They've won 9 of the last 10, 16 of the last 18, and 7 of the last 9 here in Raleigh. But right now, it's the Wolfpack on top 7-0 as Klubnik and the Tigers come out once again late in this first quarter. Best starting field position of the game for Clemson. Klubnik's pass is incomplete. It's a diving attempt by Spector, and he couldn't hang on for the graduate student from Calhoun, Georgia.
You know, and it was a nice job to keep him in front by Robert Kennedy. There was a whole lot of eye candy going on back in that backfield, but he just kept a nice cushion, kept him in front. Even had he completed that ball, it would have been about a 4 or 5 yard gain. So again, you're looking at a 2nd down and long.
Maffa. He's going to lose one. So how about 3rd and long? Caden Fordham on the tackle. Sophomore from Ponte Vedra, Florida.
Yeah, Fordham. He's got some promise. A lot of great linebackers have come through both of these programs. And Fordham's a young one. There's an old man, but a good one. Maybe the best in college ball right now. Let's see if they bring him and his buddies on 3rd down and long. Tony Gibson has been pretty aggressive. It looks like they're walking back out of it now in the rush 3.
Timeout, Tigers. There's a lot going on both sides of the ball prior to the snap there, James.
Well, there was, and you look down at that NC State sideline, and they're waving their hands, waving it off. The linebackers back out, and Klubnik had to use the timeout.
ACC football on the CW returns next Saturday as the Yellow Jackets head to Charlottesville to face the streaking Cavaliers. Georgia Tech, Virginia, next Saturday, 2 Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific. Only on the CW, and what an upset we witnessed a week ago in Chapel Hill. The Virginia Cavaliers going to Kenan Memorial Stadium, 31-27. Take a look at that. First team, 1-5 or worse, defeating an AP top 10 team on the road since 1961, and the first ever top 10 win on the road for the Virginia Cavaliers in program history.
Well, and maybe the lone bright spot on the day for Clemson fans, because a lot of them still think the world of Tony Elliott, who was with Dabo as an offensive coordinator for a long time, now the head coach up there, and they've been through so much, so what a big upset. So here now, after the timeout, your 3rd and long.
Klubnik, pass complete, Will is short, Stellato had it. Boykin was all over him. Loss of 1, 4th down, Clemson.
This is an inspired defense. It's a big switch from that game against Duke a couple weeks ago. There's a look at Boykin, who already has an interception on the day, and reads it immediately, and nothing doing. Drop for a loss on 3rd and long.
3rd, 3 and out in the first half for the Tigers. Coit, about the 21 or 2, 36 yards on the punt from Aiden Swanson. NC State scored earlier in the quarter, a TD pass MJ Morris finding KC Concepcion 9 yards, James.
Yeah, this was a turnover turned into 7 points. Concepcion got him down there on a long run, 50 yards, and from 9 yards out, he'll punch this one in, and just a little bit too easy. You got to find number 10, and I'm sure that they've heard about that a few times coming into this week from defensive coordinator Wes Goodwin. Repeated here throughout this game and, of course, at halftime.
Tigers have now given up 57 points off turnovers this season. Second level for Allen. And he's got enough for a first down for NC State. Michael Allen on the rush, and he got 12.
There's that burst as he hit that seam. You see where he can take it. Robert and I looking for some explosives from those backs. Mims, Raphael, Michael Allen. They've moved Poole, the linebacker for 3 years, over to running back. In some blocking type situations, get him on the field. Right now it's Allen in the backfield next to Morris.
Morris wants to throw it. They got him by the jersey and they drag him down. Pocket caves in on MJ Morris. That's a loss of 9.
Big root. Row. I mean, he's being held. He's stumbling through there. Finally gets a hold of Morris's shirt tail and able to pull him down. Just what this Tiger defense needed. Second down and 19 after the 9-yard loss.
So add another sack to that total for Rook. Brings up second and 19 in the closing moments of our first quarter, and that's going nowhere. Flag is out of the pass to Raphael. Barrett Carter with the big stick. That was a loss of 6 on that play. Let's sort out the penalty marker.
Personal foul, face mask, defense number 3, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Xavier Thomas. Left side of your screen, the defensive end, and, you know, hands to the face mask, whatever you want to call it. And right there in front of the official, clear as day. You know, and the moments that we had the holding earlier on a third down try that went against Bo Collins. That would have been a third down conversion. And here, you've got them way backed up at their own goal line, and you bail them out.
Raphael, left side. Break through the line up to the 42. He got to, and Tyler Davis had the tackle. And that should be the final play of the first quarter. So NC State in possession of the ball. James and the lead on the MJ Morris TD pass.
Concepcion. Looking pretty good, sounding pretty good, right? 7-0 Wolfpack. We welcome you back at the start of the second quarter here at Carter-Finley Stadium, Raleigh, North Carolina. Look at those first quarter stats. 1 of 4 on third downs. These Clemson Tigers. NC State with the ball back now, looking at 8. Second down and 8.
Deep ball, Morris down the sideline. A lot of contact and a flag.
Pass interference, defense, number 6. Penalty is 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
It's Sheridan Jones all the way. Does a good job of just turning and running right there in phase, but he's just got to snap that head around. Plain and simple. You hear about it a lot. Those eyes get big on the receivers, and watching those hands, they go up. And you're in phase like that, you've got to trust your coaching. And this is an experienced guy. He had a nice interception in the second quarter against the Miami Hurricanes last weekend. Snap that head around, and at least you give yourself a chance of not drawing that flag, but helping out NC State again with the penalty flags and big penalties here.
Morris throws it complete. 35-yard line, first down, Lassane. And to the 31, Keon Lassane. And 12 yards on the pass play from Morris.
Tom, in the loss to Duke, it was two huge problems for NC State. Number one was penalties. Penalty after penalty after penalty. And the other was catching the football. There were way too many drops. This one isn't a super easy catch. It's one that definitely should be caught, but it was one that probably, you put your money on, would have been dropped in that Duke game for whatever reason. It was just contagious there for Robert and I's offense. That doesn't seem to be the case so far today.
Concepcion has to reverse field. That'll be ruled as a pass, and it goes nowhere. Might have lost a little bit, a yard on the loss. Barnes was ready for the play.
Barnes, just like Makuba, in there filling in for the injured R.J. Mickens.
Mims got back to the 30 for Mims. This season, James, Mims with 6 rushing touchdowns for NC State. First 6 of his career for Mims as he comes to the sideline for the Wolfpack, rather. 1 for 3 on 3rd down of the game for NC State.
Yeah, that's 6th in the ACC. Went from 0 to being a scoring machine now. 3rd down and 9.
Yep, 5 is in, James.
Armstrong's in.
Brennan Armstrong in this 3rd down play tries to take off. Armstrong sheds a couple of tacklers, spins down, maybe a couple of yards short of the 1st down. Khalil Barnes on the tackle from Brennan Armstrong.
Big round of applause for number 5, who's, he's a gritty, gutty football player. We've seen that throughout the years in the ACC. And he made it interesting up there 4th down and short. Had he not, they of course have Narveson, who's been a big boomer with the leg, but instead, and I'll keep that offense in. We'll call a timeout though before they snap.
Armstrong starting the afternoon as the leading rusher this season for NC State. It is 4th down in Raleigh on the CW.
Having friends over for the next game? Just tell Siri. Text Sam. Don't forget the pizza.
So back in Raleigh, 7-0 NC State. They were thinking about going for it on 4th down, but Brayton Narveson has come into the game.
Yeah, I like this call, especially with Clemson having a tough time moving the football so far in this football game. Got a chance to get points, go ahead and get them. Got a guy that's been solid kicking field goals.
41-yard attempt. Narveson for NC State. 3 more on the board. 9 of 11 on the season and 7 in a row on field goal tries for Narveson. 10-0 NC State over Clemson. ACC football on the CW is brought to you by Verizon. My plan, the plan for fans. 77 wins for Earl Edwards here at NC State. 5 times an ACC champ, 4 times Coach of the Year in the ACC. Last year here in Raleigh was 1970. Dave Doran can tie him with a victory today against the Clemson Tigers. No return from Shipley. Dave Doran, 11th season, he can tie Edwards with those 77 wins. 8 times NC State's been bowl eligible.
Trevor, this feels like a pretty big series for Klubnik, Shipley, this Clemson Tiger offense, because not letting go of the momentum so far, this Wolfpack team.
Without question, their team that's inspired.
Stool had the catch, 17 yards and a first down for the Tigers, their longest offensive play of the game.
Well, he's smooth as can be for a tight end running those routes, and he's just getting better all the time. Great job to adjust, go back and get it, and still doesn't break stride. Nice play there on first down.
Shipley tried to make a cut at the 40 and stumbled down. James, so far it's been a struggle. This is the first possession of the second quarter. In the first quarter, take a look at this. 3 punts and the interception by Devin Boykin.
Yeah, and I think, you know, you credit this NC State defense. It's the highlight all year has been Peyton Wilson. But he said one thing after that Duke game. We've got to play tougher. They're playing tougher. They're playing fast, and they're playing physical, especially out there on the perimeter.
Shipley spins his way close to midfield. Shipley got 9 for the junior from Weddington, North Carolina. How about the view from RefCam?
That's a nice one. I could watch the whole game on that CW RefCam, looking right at it.
Take you right down onto the field for the run by Shipley. Just 1 for 4 on third down for the Tigers in the game. This is 3rd and 2. Throw for it. Inside the 30, leaping attempt, 25-yard line. That was Bo Collins. Collins has it near the 22, and he beat battle for the football.
Just dropping it in there. A beautifully thrown football, and a great job to adjust and go get it off the shoulder pad of Shaheem Battle. Not bad coverage. Excellent play offensively.
They had 28 yards on the previous play. This could be a loss for Shipley.
Betty doing a good job of coming over from his linebacker spot right there. Betty from the 9-5-4 down in South Florida, played his high school ball at St. Thomas Aquinas. One of the best football programs, high school programs in the nation, just like Westlake High School, where Klubnik's from.
They swing it out to Shipley. Breaks through the first line of defense. He's near a first down at the 12-yard line on a pass from Klubnik. Peyton Wilson had the tackle. Shipley and Klubnik combined for 9 yards.
Unlike NC State, this is where it has gotten really ugly in the red zone for Dabo Swinney's team. Look at that. Trips per game, 2nd in the nation. Points per trip, just about bottom of the barrel, 128 in the FBS. They've got to come out of here with some points, and preferably for Clemson Tiger fans, 7 points.
68% scoring rate is 14th. Bottom of the ACC. Klubnik looking for the end zone. The pass too high as Collins was trying to create some separation against Shaheem Battle defensively for NC State.
Well, and almost right on cue, you saw the snap was a little bit high and hard. Klubnik had to go get that, adjust to it, does a good job of pulling it in. And then he just throws it out of bounds, doesn't really give his receiver that much of a chance, but still no disaster right there. So it's a 2nd down and 10. They can't get a first down at the 2.
This is Shipley, 10-yard line, down towards the goal line for Shipley, and just short, near the 1. And Shipley remains down for the moment after the 11-yard play. Just short of the end zone for Shipley on the 11-yard play, and they'll come out and check on number 1. And we'll step aside for just a moment. Clemson knocking on the door as they attend to Will Shipley. Great to see Will Shipley walking off the field after that hit at the goal line. It is first and goal for the Tigers, but here's the play. This was ruled a pass play. Seven is battle, James, for NC State.
Shipley fighting, trying to get into that end zone. I'm just glad Shipley's okay. I hate to see anybody taken out, but at the same time, the targeting is the rule, and that's a defenseless player. But
here's the ninth play of the drive, James, with Maffa to the goal line, and he's in for the Tigers. A 1-yard TD run for Phil Maffa, and the Clemson Tigers are on the scoreboard in Raleigh.
Fortunately for Dabo and that Clemson Tiger football team, they've got that 1-2 punch with Will Shipley, who just left the game, and Phil Maffa. Big answer after going down 10-0 and not doing much at all there in the first half. Driving right down the field to cut the lead to 3.
5th rushing touchdown of the season for Maffa, and that leads the team. Jonathan White's the extra point. The look from referee Cam into the end zone. Maffa for the Tigers. ACC football on the CW is brought to you by T-Mobile. It's better over here. Tigers taking 75 yards to get to the end zone on a spectacular day for college football here in Raleigh, with the temps in the low 80s. Light breezes, just a perfect afternoon here on the CW. Robert Gunn kicks it away. Gray. It's a fair catch at the 2. Gray, second in the conference in kick return average. Almost 29 yards per return. Decides not to return that one with 8:24 to go in the second quarter, and his team up by 3.
Yeah, between Julian Gray returning those kicks, Jalen Coit as the punt returner. A good return game here for Dave Doran in the Wolfpack.
Gray had an 82-yard kick return touchdown against VMI, a game we did on the CW earlier this season. MJ Morris at quarterback. TD pass in the first quarter to Casey Concepcion. And they will be dropped for a loss. It's a loss of 3.
Well, just a good job to save it by Morris. I mean, talk about a fingertip catch, and then as a reward, he gets 3 big Clemson Tigers. Capehart leading the charge right there in his face, but a good job to pull it down and to live to play another snap.
NC State this season, James, in total offense, 13th in the ACC. So far, 91 total yards. The Clemson's 131 in total offense. Tigers just drove it down the field to get a touchdown, their first of the game. This is a short rush from Michael Allen. Barrett Carter on the tackle. Maybe a yard for Allen. 3rd down quickly for NC State.
Well, in this defense of Clemson trying to quickly turn the tide all through the first quarter. The momentum on the side of the guys in the red with the white hats. And Clemson, after that touchdown, now the defense going to try to make a stand here on 3rd down and 13 and force a punt. Armstrong back in there.
1 for 4 on 3rd down. Armstrong to pitch. And that goes nowhere to Allen. How about Jeremiah Trotter making sure of it for the Clemson defense? And it's 4th down for NC State. No gain on the play.
Jeremiah Trotter, Barrett Carter, great linebacker play for both of these teams, and just the right angle, just like Pops used to do it. Jeremiah Trotter, the junior, has always been a big-time player leading by example, but coaches tell you he's becoming a little bit more vocal as a leader for that defense. Big play there.
3rd 3 and out of the game for the NC State offense. This is Green is taken down immediately. Near the 37-yard line. Punt was 39.
This rule has changed over the years. You got to give them a chance, and it's 1 yard now. It used to be the halo, a couple yards. And that was close. No flag, and a great job of hanging on to it.
Takari Collins to play on special teams for NC State. So they put the ball at the 39-yard line of the Tigers. Went 9 plays, 75 yards on the possession prior to this one to get to the end zone for the first time in the first half. That's Collins. He's up past the 40-yard line. Clock rolling down towards the 6-minute mark. 2 yards on the play. And Boykin, who had the interception of the first quarter, has the tackle here. Junior from Greensboro, North Carolina. 9th interception of the season for NC State. 2nd best in the ACC. Maffa. He had the 1-yard touchdown run on that previous drive. 44-yard line for Maffa and 3 yards. Peyton Wilson on the tackle.
Garrett Riley down low near the goal line just moments ago. Had the right play drawn up for NC State bringing the house. They slipped Shipley out of there. It looks like they walked up. Looks like a couple of them are going to be coming here. Here they come.
Klubnik knocked down to the turf and incomplete. Trying to find Collins, and it got knocked down.
Well, had he found Collins, it would have been Bo time because there was nobody there for him. Bo Collins did an excellent job by NC State. If you're not going to get there, get a hand up and knock it down. Would have been off to the races. Devon Betty, who's had a pretty good game in there, knocking it down and forcing this punt.
Swanson to punt. Coy, fair catch indication in the vicinity of the 13-yard line, and 42 yards on the punt. Coming up on the Subaru halftime report, we'll talk with Dabo Swinney, the head coach of the Clemson Tigers, go around the ACC and have your highlights and stats. Trevor Scales will take you through halftime here in Raleigh, North Carolina. Coach Swinney trying to become the all-time winningest coach in the history of Clemson football, tied momentarily with Frank Howard at 165 wins. You've heard of Howard's Rock in Clemson, James Bates?
I sure have. I think everybody watching this broadcast has.
Memorial Stadium, about 300 miles to our west. Charlotte's just about right in the middle between these two locations. Here in Raleigh, Carter-Finley Stadium. Side of our game this afternoon, the 58th season of football inside this facility. And NC State has won 232 games. That includes the last meeting in Raleigh between these two teams. Robert Anand was not the offensive coordinator at the time. Clemson was number 9, and it was a win for NC State, 27-21 in double overtime. Watch out. Quarterback is going down. Wayne Woodhead, second sack of the game for the Tigers.
Dan's so nice, you got to do it twice. Wayne Woodhead's not to be denied. I mean, just trying to get a little hand on him, but he's coming off of that edge. Here you see him on the left of your screen. They got to do a better job of putting some friction. When you've got 2 to block him, and that's what you give, just the Olay, don't make guys dance like that. Woodhead's not a Tampa Jesuit. Bringing the wood.
Forcing a 3rd and 17. From his end zone, Morris on the run. Trying to freelance. Absorbed a hit at the 6. And then finally toppled all of that for about a yard gain. Tyler Davis at first pop. And then they finished him off, Jeremiah Trotter Jr. That'll mean a punt for the Wolfpack from their own end zone here.
There's a couple pretty big pops in there. MJ Morris just, first of all, trying to get out of that end zone. And then just hanging on for dear life as the hits were coming fast and furious. And Clemson should have pretty good field position here.
Noonkester's punt. That's Green. Right about near his 48 or 49, almost 4.5 seconds of hang time. 52 yards on the punt for Noonkester.
Tom, from the #1 New York Times best-selling author comes Sullivan's Crossing. This brand new CW original series stars Morgan Cohen alongside Chad Michael Murray and Scott Patterson in their return to the CW. Watch Sullivan's Crossing every Wednesday at 8/7 Central, only on the CW.
It's a softer and gentler.
It is. It's much gentler than an F-Boy Island read. Yeah, and again, Chad Michael Murray, not to be confused with Chaz Michael Michaels.
We appreciate the clarification, James.
Yes.
Another exceptional read on your part. Sullivan's Crossing.
I'm a people person.
From the 49 for the Tigers. Looking for the crossing of the 50-yard line. It's not going to happen. They're going to lose some yardage. Maffa, loss of 2. He won't be crossing anything anytime soon. Although the Tigers responded, though, James. They had struggled to gain offensive traction and then decided to drive the ball 75 yards here in the second quarter, and Maffa finished off the drive with a 1-yard TD run.
Yeah, now both of these defenses are playing some physical football, fast and physical.
Klubnik in the sunshine. Fires that one inside the 45. Brandon Spector pulled it down for the Tigers.
There's a look right there inside, breaking off that route. Doing a good job going up in traffic. Spector and hauling that ball and securing it just about a yard shy of that first down stick. Nice throw there by Klubnik.
They got 11 yards. James brings up 3rd and short. Klubnik threw for over 300 yards in the double OT loss at Miami last week. A couple of TD passes as well. 3rd time in his career. Over 300 yards passing. He wants to do it here on 3rd down. He bashes his way to the 40-yard line. That's enough for Klubnik and a first down for Clemson. A little bit of toughness there from number 2, James.
Yeah, a little bit of toughness and a whole lot of speed. If he gets out in open field from the CW ref cam, there's a look at Sean Brown coming down and dropping him, but the damage is done. And it's a first down for the Clemson Tigers.
From the 40 of NC State. Klubnik on target, 35-yard line. Adam Randall joining the group of receivers getting involved with Klubnik, and they got 6 yards on the play. A timeout is called by Clemson. 49 seconds to go in the second quarter. So NC State has the 10-7 lead late in this quarter. History will be made by one of these two coaches, regardless of the outcome. Dave Dorn, 11th season, 76 wins. Second most behind Earl Edwards with 77. And Dabo Swinney can pass Frank Howard. They're tied at 165 wins in school history. Coach Swinney on that sideline with a couple of national championships to his credit in 2016 and 2018. And both of these teams, James, 4-3 rather. And how about Clemson? 2-3 in conference play. NC State is 1-2 against the conference.
Those are both of them. A whole lot of wins. It is not easy, as we're finding out, to win a college football game. And this is going to be a dogfight for all 4 quarters, it feels like today.
On 2nd and 4. That pass is going to get it done. Randall fighting for extra yardage. 7 does the trick at a first down, Tigers.
One timeout left here for the Tigers. And a good job of being up over that ball in a hurry, ready to snap and spike it. So excellent job running that 2-minute O.
7 different receivers now used by Klubnik, and Randall, his 2 catches are on this drive.
Tigers received the opening kickoff. It'll be NC State's ball to start the second half. Klubnik and Clemson like to find a way to put 7 more on that scoreboard in the next 39 seconds.
Last 2 passes have been complete to Randall. This is Klubnik on a little play fake, and he just has to toss that one into the NC State bench area. Jalen Scott was providing pressure for NC State. Man, what a gut-wrenching loss, James, last week for this Clemson program. 28-20, double overtime against Miami. They ran for just 31 yards in that game and led after the third quarter, 17-7.
Nice job on that last play by Jalen Scott to weave his way through and to put the pressure, albeit a little bit late on Klubnik. Here they'll bring 4.
Klubnik up the middle. It's only a yard. So Davin Van on the stop for NC State.
Davin Van, 3.5 sacks on the year, and they're just trying to rip away at that football, trying to rip it out. And Dabo's going to let this one go down. Send that field goal unit in there and try to tie it up at halftime.
Yeah, it appears that they didn't want to try anything too risky on that third down play. They needed to get down to the 17 of NC State for the first down, and now a timeout with 2 seconds to go on 4th down for the Tigers. And James just mentioned they're trying to tie it up here. NC State took the 10-0 lead. Coach Sweeney and the Tigers came back with a touchdown run from Moffa from a yard out. And now they're thinking about tying it up. Just 2 seconds to go in the quarter. So Jonathan White's story's been well documented. Down in Charleston taking online classes at Clemson, and they said, why don't you come up and kick some field goals for us. 43-yard attempt. Clay Sweeney, youngest son. Dabo Sweeney on the hold. Timeout taken by NC State.
Taking advantage of that.
So Whites did make a 41-yarder, James, a career long against Miami, and he's 5 of 8 on the season, trying to tie up Dave Doran on the NC State Wolfpack.
Dave Doran, hey, here's a guy who thought he was out of football just about a month or so ago. He was actually in Whites. He was 2 weeks away from being up in New York on a trading desk. I mean, going to work. So, hey, you got a timeout. Don't take it into the locker room. Let him think about it a little bit.
So this would be a 43-yarder and set a new career long for Whites if he can knock it through and tie us up. Got a 41-yarder against Miami. Whites. It is no good as time runs out in the second quarter. 43-yard attempt from number 41. No good for Dabo Sweeney and the Tigers. And so NC State will take that 3-point lead to the locker room. 3-1 this season with a halftime lead, leading the Tigers in the Textile Bowl 10-7. NC State got a touchdown run, a pass rather, to Concepcion, and a field goal as we go down to the field. And Trevor.
Here with head coach David Dorn, coach, got out to an early lead courtesy of some explosive plays from Casey Concepcion. How do you keep that going into the second half?
Well, the offense has done a good job of mixing things up. I mean, he took advantage of the bye week there, got him in a tackle over set. They didn't adjust. It was well executed, and that's really what we got to do. We got to execute. We've played clean. We're not getting the penalties and the drops that have been hurting us on offense. The defense has done a great job.
How about that defense? How do you keep that going on that side of the ball?
It's just one play at a time. Just go out there and do your job, enjoy what you're doing, have a swagger about it, and finish.
Best of luck, Coach. Thank you.
The touchdown for Coach Dorn in the first half came off the interception by Boykin in the first quarter. They took it in. Tigers came back. Moffa from a yard out. 10-7, halftime. NC State at Clemson and Raleigh.
This is the Subaru halftime report. Love, it's what makes Subaru, Subaru. A late push from Clemson in the first half, but a missed field goal leads to the 10-7 margin that the NC State Wolfpack leads by here at Carter-Finley Field. Trevor Scales here on the turf, and it has been a wild first half just from the standpoint of the explosive offense from NC State getting out to a fast start. However, Clemson battled back, but it is all just a back-and-forth affair here on homecoming weekend for NC State. And no, it is a special weekend for NC State. It's a special place that is for the house of the Clemson Tigers. It extends to the investment by all those involved in that program, something that James Bates found out about firsthand from Dabo Swinney.
It's funny, the guys that could have gone to the NFL made a lot of money, but they chose to come back.
Yeah, I mean, and all 7 of those guys, I didn't expect to be back. We had 7 guys that could have gone in the draft that all graduates. I think 2 or 3 got master's degrees that all chose to stay at Clemson, and they didn't choose to stay to hang out. They came back with a lot of purpose and focus and what they want to accomplish individually, but also as a team. And then recruiting. 15 mid-years show up. It's brought a lot of enthusiasm. The explosiveness that I think we're going to be able to get back to is exciting.
That's not a fluke, because that's happened quite a few times before. You look back at Christian and those guys.
I think it speaks to the experience that they've had at Clemson and their love of not just where they are, but who they're with. One of the main objectives for us is graduate our guys, is to equip them as men, but for them to have a great experience too. It speaks to our continuity and I think the culture that's there.
It's got to give you a little bit more time where you can just relax and go enjoy the family and be a real person. Is that right?
Yeah, there's no question. We're very fortunate that way. If I was just getting started, I mean, it would be a different scenario. You'd have no choice. But we've got a lot of continuity. We know the fit at Clemson. We value education and discipline, accountability, and family. And there's a lot of really, really good football players that they line up perfectly with that.
(10-7) the margin. Dabo Swinney, a comeback effort away from that historic win as a head coach. ACC highlights coming up next on the Subaru Halftime Report. Stick with us. Here at halftime, it's 10-7. NC State leading right about now here at Carter-Finley Field. Trevor Scales here on the field with you. ACC action got cracking on Thursday night ahead of Halloween weekend. Out there playing a little hokey ball were the Vatech Hokies. It was all them from first snap to last. The trickery from Malachi Thomas and DeQuan Felton, 16-yard score, and a 10-0 first quarter lead for Vatech there, and then Felton would get on the board again, this time a little bit more straightforward, quite literally, frankly. 62 yards down the sideline on the go route from Kyron Drones. Massive day for Vatech on the ground, though. Rushed for over 300 and held the Orange to absolutely 0 on the ground. Hokies roll 38-10. Earlier today, number 4 Florida State and Wake Forest started our ACC action in Winston-Salem. Of course, Keon Coleman is going to get involved. A 29-yard score here puts him up 34-7 at the half. And then it took one play for FSU to score another one. Jordan connected with Trey Benson, and Benson would do the rest. Shedding would-be tacklers from the Demon Deacons on the way to a 80-yard house call. And then Jordan DeColeman for one more 14-yard score. Null State will look to stay undefeated at 8-0. UConn made a quick trip up to Chestnut Hill to take on BC. Thomas Castellanos, 13-play, 66-yard drive, concluding with a touchdown to put up 14-7 BC at the half. Increase would grow. The lead would increase, I should say, 21-7 on a 9-play, 70-yard drive. This time, Kyle Robichaux capped it off with a 13-yard touchdown score. BC goes 5-3 on the year. 21-14 win there. ACC action still just waiting to get cracking. A couple 3:30 kicks to monitor here. Duke and Louisville just getting started, as well as Pitt and Notre Dame, as well as Virginia and the U. More of your Subaru halftime report after the break. Tom and Batesy will rejoin us. Welcome back to the Subaru Halftime Report, where NC State holds a 10-7 lead on homecoming week. Trevor Scales here on the field with you, and it has been a rocket start for the NC State offense, getting the explosive plays that they needed. And as we welcome in Tom Wormy and James Bates into the conversation, fellas, that's something that they're going to look to get back to, courtesy of moving Casey Concepcion all around the field.
Yeah, Trevor, thank you. It was a 10-0 lead for NC State, but James, you look at the numbers, 85 total yards, and you lead the Clemson Tigers at halftime 10-7.
Well, and you also go back to that decision that they made. Looked like at 4th and 2 they were going to go for it. Timeout, sent the kicking unit in there, and that's a big difference. I think it was too early in the game to go for it. Smart decision right there to kick it, and they're up by 3 right now.
Let's take a look at some of the action from the first half. Again, NC State has lost the last 9 out of 10 against Clemson, but it was NC State early on that took the lead.
Yeah, well, this was the only turnover of the first half, and a throw too high off the mark looking for Brenningstool, and able to convert that turnover into a touchdown. Here's the end of a nice drive, a nice Casey Concepcion drive. And here's the first part of it to get him down there. Good blocks by Poole, the linebacker that's transferred over to the offensive side, Carter as well. And the rest is just up to the freshman. The speed on the outside, 50-yard gain right there. Here's Clemson's touchdown in the first half after Shipley left the game with the injury, and it was Moffitt punching it in from 1 yard out.
So here are the numbers from the first half. And you take a look at Clemson, the highlighted number, less than 3 yards per rush.
Yeah, and you know, in penalties, 3 penalties, you know, that's not a ton, but look at the yardage, 40 yards on those, and they've been just inopportune times, and 0 penalties for NC State there in that first half. So they have definitely cleaned that bracket up since the Duke game.
Most of the yardage for the Tigers coming in that second quarter when they broke through with the 1-yard TD run. This has been the Subaru Halftime Report. Love, it's what makes Subaru, Subaru. .7 on the CW. NC State has the lead, went out to the 10-0 lead. Clemson got it in the end zone in the second quarter with a short run. All right, let's go down to the field to Trevor Scales.
Got a chance to talk to Dabo Swinney on the way out of the locker room. He did update us on the injury status of Will Shipley. He will not return, but he hasn't heard much as far as the specifics of the injury goes. With regards to what they are trying to completely do in the second half, it's about establishing the run on the ground for them offensively, and then defensively they've been able to hold cats to less than 50 yards on the day without that 50-yard run from Casey Concepcion. So it's a lot about doing the same things and continuing to lock things down defensively the way that they have done thus far.
Trevor, you're right. They've allowed 276 yards per game. That is best in the conference for the defensive unit for Dabo Swinney, and they allowed just the 1 TD pass. Morris to Concepcion, 9 yards in that first half. Yeah, that was an awkward play at the goal line. Will Shipley appeared to be potentially going in for a TD and collided with Shaheem Battle. Shipley did walk off the field under his own strength in the first half. So we're ready to go with the second half. NC State will have the ball as the shadows creep across the field here at Carter-Finley Stadium. To Gray stays away from it. Bouncing into the end zone. So for the second straight week, just 7 points in the first half for the Tigers, and MJ Morris will lead them out for the second half. Side by side for the starting QBs, Klubnik and Morris.
Yeah, both of these defenses have started to get after these quarterbacks, putting the pressure on them, especially the Clemson defense there late in that first half. A couple big hits as Morris was able to get up out of the end zone. And Clemson would love to return the favor and force some sort of a turnover here early in the second half.
Morris dumps it off, 30-yard line. Allen first down for the Pack, out past the 35. Woodaz on the stop, 12 yards on the play for NC State.
Nice job by NC State to start things off right out of that locker room. There weren't a lot of big chunk plays there in the first half, but there's a nice one to move the chains here on the first snap.
Morris threw for 193 yards in that loss a couple of weeks ago to Duke. NC State led 3-0, and then Blue Devils scored the next 24 points to win that game.
So Trotter and Woodhouse looked to show blitz and backed out of it. Here's another nice play in the secondary.
That's Wiggins, knocked it away from Poodle Rooks.
Good break on the ball, good technique. Comes with that near hand to swat it away. So a second down.
MJ Morris, 6'2", 205 pounds, and a sophomore from Carrollton, Georgia. On 2nd and 10. Third straight start for Morris, who threw 4 TD passes in that win, that wild one, James, against Marshall. A home victory for NC State, which is 2-2 at home this season. Morris threw for over 400 yards. The total offense was over 400 yards for NC State in that one, and the 4 TD passes from Morris. 48-41.
Well, he had the 3 interceptions. Only one of them was his fault, couple tip balls, and here he's just got to take care of this football. At the very least, punt it away and make Clemson drive.
3rd and long for the Pack. It's going to be short of the first down marker, which is up at the 47. 5 yards on the play to Gray as Wiggins made the stop.
Yeah, nice job by Nate Wiggins. You can run that route in front of me all day long. I'll just break up on it and make the stop. About 3 or 4 yards shy of the yardage needed.
So Green will be deep for the punt from Noonkester. Fair catch made successfully at the 10-yard line. 42 yards on the punt from Caden Noonkester. Tigers have the ball. NC State has the lead early in the second half. ACC football on the CW is brought to you by Verizon. My plan, the plan for fans. Head coach Frank Howard at Howard's Rock at Memorial Stadium. Tied right now with Dabo Swinney, 165 wins. Most in the history of Clemson football. And if the Tigers can pull it off today, Coach Swinney would pass Coach Howard. Both players at Alabama in their playing days. Van, loss of 2. Maffa on the run. This is the worst starting field position of the game right now for the Tigers.
Yeah, that's more like a semi-truck than just a van. And if it has to be a van, it's not a minivan. Devin Van, the captain on that defensive front for Tony Gibson. Just the penetration immediately. And Maffa runs right into a wall. That's not what you wanted on first down.
5th year on the staff for Tony Gibson, almost 30 years in coaching. Maffa tiptoeing those sidelines near the 10-yard line for the Tigers. And about 3 on the play. There is an NC State player down. Davin Vann, the junior from Cary, North Carolina, and Cary High School. So they'll check on Vann, and we'll step aside for just a moment with NC State in front.
Next Saturday, ACC football on the CW continues.
The money ball and the touchdown.
Rising star Haynes King leads Georgia Tech on the road to Virginia to face Malik Washington and the Cavaliers.
Touchdown!
Georgia Tech, Virginia, next Saturday at 2 Eastern, 11 Pacific on the CW.
When you drive a Honda, you're driving with the most fuel-efficient full-line automaker over the last 5 years. Follow your adventures in an exciting new Honda. Buy online, reserve from select dealers, or visit your local Honda dealer today.
It's such a beautiful street. And then we met our neighbors.
It's a little strange. It can be a bit chaotic sometimes.
I had to get used to just how lively everything is. Now that I have CPI, we feel so much better.
Call CPI today to get 3 free cameras with Perimeter Alert and advanced video analytics.
I'm starting to like this neighborhood.
Hendrick.
SUV season is the best season to buy your next SUV. Visit HendrickCars.com during the SUV season sales event. Make no payments until 2024 and 0 down options available. Choose from over 10,000 SUVs. The brands you love. Every Hendrick location. Gas, hybrid, electric, new and certified pre-owned. Make no payments until 2024 and 0 down options available. Visit HendrickCars.com.
At 8/7 Central.
ACC football on the CW is brought to you by Jimmy John's, the sandwich of sandwiches. Some creative Halloween costumes in anticipation of Halloween next Tuesday.
Big 3rd down, 3rd and 10. Protect that football.
Klubnik near his own goal line, steps and throws, and it's a short hop. Incomplete on 3rd down. Looking for Brown.
Nice job by this Wolfpack defense. They've got them pinned. They pin their ears back. And didn't let them budge. So now in return, as we go back and forth to start this second half, should be great field position and a very scary return man about to receive this.
3 and out for the 5th time of the game. Coit wants a fair catch, now tries to back away from it. And it rolls into NC State territory and down near the 46 or 7 yard line. The punt there, 43 yards from the end zone. Tuesday on Inside the NFL, the guys take a look back, see if the Jags stayed hot. Versus the Steelers, plus did the 49ers get back on track against the Bengals? Find out on Inside the NFL, Tuesday 8/7 Central, only on the CW. Right after that, Bates, the finale of The Swarm. Oh, the ecological thriller. Check it out.
Yeah, I need to see at least one more shot of Daniel LaRusso and Johnny before the end of this game. That was impressive. And not only are they just dressed up, they both look like it too.
MJ Morris, so far this afternoon, there was illegal touching against Clemson, so the spot goes all the way down to the 41 of the Tigers when the ball was originally in NC State territory. That was Concepcion on the move. He's got the football. Concepcion trying to carve his way through to about the 38-yard line and 3 yards.
Good job stringing this out, but still Concepcion able to get a few yards. Look at that. Wow. Daniel LaRusso's going to fight. Daniel LaRusso's going to fight. That was one of the best moments in the history of film, is when Daniel came hobbling back out there after they swept the leg. Wow. Thank you, Truck. That was your That was your Halloween gift to me, huh?
Recreated in the stands on homecoming here in Raleigh. Brennan Armstrong is in there, feels the pressure, and they drag him down. Boy, that pocket collapsed awfully quickly on Armstrong. Third sack of the game for the Tigers.
Yeah, and this is a front here for Clemson that's banged up a little bit, but still they go so deep. And again, NC State with those twists, those games, having trouble with it. You know, whether it's Brennan Armstrong or MJ Morris in there taking that snap, either one of them isn't going to be able to get away from that rush. Dabo's fired up with that drop, and now it's 3rd down and 12.
How about just 1 of 7 on 3rd down in the game for NC State? Overloaded to the left side for Morris. Looking that way. Sails it over the head of the intended receiver, Keon Lassane, the senior. So also 5 3 and outs for Robert and I and NC State.
So Clemson now holding NC State to 1 of 8 on 3rd downs. There they brought the blitz. And Morris feeling a little bit of pressure and a little bit too high, not giving Lassane a chance. Yeah, they haven't had any turnovers defensively, but that's a pretty good job on 3rd downs.
Noonkester's punt takes a sideways, backwards bounce near the 10. Finally down.
Noonkester, Tom, we saw him against Marshall. He pinned him at the 1 in that game, and then against Duke he did the same. That one, you know, he had that spin on it, but it cut right at the 10-yard line. But still, it's not bad field position. Just don't put it in that end zone.
So that was just a 26-yard punt. Trevor, what's the field down at field level right now? Neither team get anything going so far.
I think everybody's just in a workman's attitude at this point, and it's an understanding when they come to the sideline. It's a lot of the same old things that you want to continue to do if you're either side of this war of attrition, frankly. Both teams struggling to find a little bit of identity in the run game, and neither of them able to find any consistency in the pass game. Wondering what Clemson will do creatively to maybe get Cade a little bit more comfortable in the pocket in this drive.
127 yards through the air, 35 on the ground for the Tigers. Little play action. Klubnik's pick. Intercepted! Intercepted Peyton Wilson. Diving for the end zone. Touchdown NC State. The interception and to the end zone for Wilson.
Dabo and Clemson, the turnovers -1 in turnover margin coming in today as they take one more look at it to make sure. Peyton goes over that cone. And calling it a touchdown. He's not out of bounds, coming right at you there, the pylon cam. And how about that? I mean, just a big play magnet. And Davin Van, who left the game just moments ago with an injury, I believe got a hand on it. And this will stand. And Peyton Wilson, he hasn't made a ton of tackles.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands. Touchdown.
Has it? Like we've been used to, we've called these games, he just seems like every single time out, he's got a double-digit tackle gain, but he's always around that football. Even earlier, there was a ball that was batted, almost ended up in his hands. This one ends up right there in the breadbasket of number 11.
$14 points off turnovers in the game for NC State. Boykin and then Wilson. The view from Rev Cam. Wilson into the air and into the end zone. Cade Klubnik had only thrown 3 interceptions all season, 2 today, and moments ago, the tip by Betty, the interception by Wilson, 15 yards to the end zone, and the acrobatic dive from Wilson.
There you go. There's Peyton Wilson taking it to the house, and there's 26 back there behind him. I said it was Van first, but it was 26 getting up there high. A couple times today we've seen those balls batted down coming off the hands of Klubnik.
Second interception return for a touchdown this season by NC State. Remember, Robert Kennedy had one against VMI earlier in the year. One of the 4 wins so far this season for NC State. And Coach Dorn was really surprised, James, a couple of weeks ago about the effort of his team against Duke, especially off the win against Marshall. He expected a lot more, did not get it. Today, they've done it on the defensive side of the ball, certainly with the 2 interceptions and the 14 points off the turnovers.
Well, the turnovers and lack thereof for NC State, but they've been hanging on to the football and the penalties. Just those momentum killers they have stayed away from here today.
That's popped up in the air as well. Brown came down with it in a loss of 4. How about this, James? Clemson has now allowed 64 points off turnovers this season, 14 this afternoon.
Well, then Dabo will tell you a lot of these things that the red zone woes, the turnovers, especially down there in the red zone. It's a recipe for losing football games, and they can't seem to shake it.
Plenty of time in this one. Plenty of time for Klubnik to throw, and that's up near the 40 and a first down. Jake Brenningstool, the tight end, and a junior from Brentwood, Tennessee, has the catch for 19.
Yeah, the last couple of weeks he's had a couple nice catches now in this game and showing you what he can do once he gets his hands on the ball. And that was a big bailout right there. He's going to get kind of ugly on a 3rd and long. This is one thing here that this NC State defense has done a good job of, bottling up number 2. He can run. When he scrambles and decides to tuck it and go, he can be very dangerous. But the Wolfpack D not allowing him to beat him with those legs so far in this game.
The MVP, the ACC championship a season ago in Charlotte against North Carolina. With the controls for the Tigers, flings it up past the 45-yard line. Catch was made. Stellato. Aiden White came up with the hit. 3 yards on the play for Clemson.
Good look there at number 3 out of Asheville, North Carolina. Been big at that cornerback spot for him here throughout his career, so making some noise. And Carter-Finley for another big 3rd down.
Klubnik in traffic near midfield. Boy, that is right at the line, James. Bo Collins, the junior from Los Angeles, California, on the catch. And that is enough for a first down. The chains are moving with the football right at the 50.
Well, there's the line, and a good job by Collins, who's going to slip coming out of the break, knowing where those chains are, where you are on the field, and it was tight coverage, but just forcing it in there and using the big body to wall off the defender. Whatever it takes to move those chains, and now fresh set of downs at midfield.
3rd catch of the game for Collins, produces the first down for the Tigers. Some misdirection, Klubnik on the run. Angle his way to the sideline, and he throws it away into the NC State bench area.
It's a Clemson team who, while Moffa is a heck of a running back, the junior out of Loganville, Georgia, Grayson High School has turned out so many great products over the years. A lot of them going to Clemson. Wayne Gallman, one of those now in the NFL, but it's just him. We won't see Shipley the rest of the way, injured in the first half.
Maffa plows his way up the middle for 4. Ran into Jalen Scott. Maffa has the touchdown run in the second quarter for the Tigers from a yard out. His 5th of the season to lead the team in that category. 3rd and 6 for Clemson. Number 46 for Klubnik. Has the time, stands and delivers. Incomplete. Collins had a chance to grasp it, couldn't do it.
You gotta have it. Gotta have it. This was NC State last week. Just a terrible time trying to catch the football against Duke, or 2 weeks ago rather. And these big-time receivers that have come through here, these so many wide receiver greats, and Collins has so much talent there. He could have really helped his team. NC State's got to be careful in this situation. Near midfield, and they'll play punt safe.
19 of 32 now for Klubnik through the air. Coit will allow that to bounce into the end zone. 46 yards on the punt from Swanson.
You know, we've talked about the great receivers at Clemson. How about the great linebackers? Both of these schools, and probably the best in the nation right now this year, wearing that number 11. Tony Gibson, his defensive coordinator, will tell you he's never seen anybody play harder than number 11. Highlighted right now, you're going to see the tip by Betty, and just always seems to be around that football. And that's how you make plays, hustling to be around that football, and maybe even one of the top fastest guys on this football team, Peyton Wilson. They clocked him at 23.7 miles per hour on those GPS devices earlier this season against Louisville. And that's the fastest they've ever had here at NC State.
That's now 10 interceptions for NC State defensively. Wilson with the 15-yard return for the touchdown. Leading tackler in the ACC, no surprise there. 10 interceptions, James, second best in the ACC.
You know, Drake Thomas, Jermaine Pratt. Here you go way back to the Bill Cowher days. And over at Clemson, Kirkland and Skalski, a couple Simmons guys. And Ben Boulware, the junkyard dog, played some pretty good linebacker for him.
That's complete. That's Dakari Collins came down with it. Sophomore from Atlanta, Georgia, and a transfer from Clemson. Got 5.
Skalski, by the way, he's now with his former defensive coordinator, Brent Venables. He's on the staff out there in Norman, Oklahoma at OU. So get into coaching.
Third down's been a struggle today. Just 1 of 8 for NC State. Came in 8th in the conference at 41% on third down. Morris. Caught. Concepcion. Inside the 30. KC Concepcion. Touchdown. Wolfpack. The Pack gets it done on third down and then some, James. How about 72 yards on the play? Morris to Concepcion, and that's the second time in the game they have collaborated for a touchdown.
Tom, only 2 explosive plays on the day given up by this Clemson defense. one on the ground to Concepcion and the second right here. And you talk about respect for a freshman. Toriano Pride on they needed 3 yards. So you know where he's going to break that route off, but he's afraid with everybody blitzing that he's going to get run by, so he's got to give him a cushion. Well, you give him a cushion, and if you're going to give up and you're going to give him the first down, fine. But you can't miss the tackle and give him the easy trip to the house and the big hit and touchdown.
And trailing 24-7 now for Coach Sweeney, trying to avoid losing back-to-back games for the first time since November of 2011. And beyond that, they have not lost consecutive ACC games in over 13 years, October of 2010. 72 yards, Concepcion. What an exciting young player in the ACC, and he's done it twice with a big chunk run of 50 yards on a scoring drive, which he finished off on a TD pass from Morris, and then 72 yards, breaking a tackle and going the distance for the Wolfpack for Concepcion.
Clemson fans sitting there in that sunshine, a little bit concerned with their Tigers looking right down the barrel of moving to 4-4. And NC State fans, on the other hand, they have to be pleased so far, almost 3/4 in the book, and having to sit on that loss, that ugly loss on the road at Duke for 2 weeks with that bye.
Delaying the handoff, Maffa. James, in your estimation now, 24-7 for the Tigers. They need to get something going, and in a hurry late here in the third.
Yeah, it's still plenty of time, but you're right. I mean, they need to drive the football and start to get some things going their way. It's a defense that has shown they can make some stops. Offensively, they've got to do something and help out that defense, at least give them a break.
Lubnick got away from the first man. Diving up towards the 35, just shy of it for Stellato. They got 5 yards on the play. This is ref cam and some contact over the middle. Look out.
Oh man. It's rough out there.
Yeah, that's our umpire, Sean Garrity. He's up, he's ready. The camera's intact. And we appreciate him wearing that today. It's given us some outstanding views from the field. We take you right onto the field on the CW. Maffa racked up enough for a first down beyond the 35. Peyton Wilson on the tackle. 2 yards is enough for Maffa. Wilson, who had that exciting interception return for a touchdown of 15 yards in this third quarter.
And Tom, he's down right after that. He wrestled Maffa down. Wilson, an outstanding high school wrestler back at Orange High School in Hillsborough, North Carolina, and immediately went down to the turf.
So while we have a second as they attend to Wilson, peek at the standings in the ACC. Keep in mind Louisville and Duke play one another in Louisville today.
That'll be a great game.
Florida State still undefeated. Mike Norvell has it rolling in Tallahassee. Top of the conference, North Carolina was undefeated until last week when Virginia pulled a stunning upset in Chapel Hill. That's why you just never know what's going to happen on any given Saturday in the ACC, James. In fact, we saw it the week prior to that as well, as Pitt won at home against previously undefeated Louisville.
Well, in North Carolina, I mean, they've had some tight ones over the last few years with Georgia Tech, and so Georgia Tech's one of those teams that they beat the teams that no one thinks they're going to beat, and they struggle and have lost a couple that they shouldn't have. I really hope number 11's okay. He's really enjoyed watching him compete throughout his career, and he had a bunch of injury issues early in his career. Big hand for him.
To the sideline under his own strength for Wilson, who was in on the tackle on that previous play of Phil Maffa.
Good job, wrap off right there off the edge of that defense, and then just immediately just drop right down to the grass, and hopefully it's just a cramp and he can walk it off and be back in there. Right now he sits with 8 tackles, 1.5 tackles for loss, and that interception for a touchdown.
Inside of 3 minutes to go in the third. Klubnik through the progression. Safety valve at Maffa. He gets wrestled out of bounds up near the 42. Caden Fordham. 7 yards.
Well, look at this all-22 shot here. And finally, Klubnik gets a little bit of time, but they've got him locked down in the secondary. I mean, they're right there in the back pocket of every one of those receivers. And Klubnik doing a good job of just dumping it off, and Maffa getting him what he can. But Clemson would like to get one the easy way themselves, but it's been a secondary for Tony Gibson that's been outstanding so far.
Throwing on second and short. That is caught by Randall. First down. Chains are moving. 11 yards for the Tigers, who've been such a good road team since 2015. James, 35 road wins, the most in the Football Bowl subdivision, although in the hole with 2 minutes to go here in the third, 24-7, and the third catch from Randall for a first down. All day for Klubnik. Threads the pass in between a couple of defenders to Brenningstool, and that's back-to-back first down plays. Also 11 yards to the tight end, number 9, Jake Brenningstool. Fourth catch for him.
And finally, this Clemson offense for Garrett Riley is getting into a little bit of a rhythm, able to complete back-to-back passes and move that football, move those chains.
Once again to the air at the 30-yard line. Bo Collins hauls it in for 6 yards. Conversely, James, NC State, they've won 18 of their last 21 home games. And Garrett Riley, who was the offensive coordinator for TCU in the national title game a season ago, in the orange and purple, or regalia if you prefer, of the Clemson Tigers this afternoon in his first year. Come up with something for Klubnik. Runs out of the pocket, puts touch on that one. Inside the 10, down near the goal line, diving for it. Flag came out. That was Sage Ennis on the play. There is a penalty marker as he was diving for the end zone. They've marked him out at the 2. We need to sort out the flag, and the play went 28 yards.
Personal foul, face mask, defense, number 2. Penalties half the distance to the goal. Automatic. First down.
Nice job by Klubnik. He's going to buy some time. He could tuck it and go right there, but dumps it off and then fighting to get down there. And there's the face mask look right there. You saw the flags come out immediately. Jalen Scott, the guilty party there, but it won't matter. Sage Ennis.
First and goal. Klubnik trying to do it himself. Right down near the goal line for the quarterback on the keep. We'll give him a yard. Bring up second and goal. Seconds ticking away in this third quarter. That will be the final play of the third quarter. So it will be second and goal for the Tigers when we start in the fourth. Peyton Wilson intercepted a tip pass and took it 15 yards for the score to bring us to 24-7. In fact, 14 points off turnovers for NC State. Wilson, the dive into the end zone. NC State takes the lead to the fourth on the CW. (24-7), about to start the fourth. Tom Wormy, James Bates, Trevor Scales on the sideline, and our outstanding production crew with you in Raleigh. Here's a look from RefCam.
Well, and it's a big look because there have been 7 trips this year inside the 10-yard line where Clemson has come up empty. So if I'm in NC State, hey, you want them to snap it all you can down there. And they took a look at it, and we'll call him down right there inside the 1 to start the 4th quarter.
2nd and goal, Tigers. Muffa, left side, and he slams it in from short yardage. Second 1-yard TD run of the game for Phil Muffa to start the 4th.
Come in and try to make it a 10-point game, and the whole 4th quarter to go for a defense from Clemson that has done a pretty good job, except for giving up the 2 explosives to Concepcion here on the day.
And Whites makes it a 10-point game after the short run from Maffa. The view from a ref cam. Second effort into the end zone for the Tigers. In the 91st all-time meeting between Clemson and NC State, Tigers just scored from a yard out to make it a 10-point game, 24-14. Julian Gray ready for the kickoff. That natural grass surface almost in complete shade at this point. Pass forward 30 on the eastern seaboard. These rivals about 300 miles apart. Clemson off to the west of Raleigh as we go down to the field in Trevor.
Got an update on senior linebacker Peyton Wilson, fellas. Questionable to return. They're looking for him to brace up that lower body injury is what they're calling it. Testing it out on the sidelines as we speak. Moving around a bit gingerly, but we'll see if he returns.
Yeah, Trevor, there he is trying that brace on. We saw him there at the break. He was putting it on and then taking it back off. Trying to figure out a way to get out there. Sure, if there's a way, he'll be back out there, but hopefully he's okay. Hopefully Will Shipley's okay, who took a big hit at the goal line in the first half.
And the TD return for Wilson off the interception was the first of his career and the 10th interception this season for NC State. Mims short yardage. Morris, the pass to Concepcion in the 3rd quarter, 72-yard TD pass. Longest pass of his career and the longest catch for Concepcion, the freshman from Charlotte, North Carolina. He's got 2 receiving touchdowns in this game. 9 yards and 72 yards for Concepcion. Mims driven back.
Let's take a look at that touchdown by Concepcion. It was on a 3rd down, 3rd and short, unlike this one. There he is up top. And it's, talk about being on an island. There's pride and that much cushion. You're doing that because you respect that speed and you don't want them to run by you for the easy touchdown. But you've got to come up and make that play under control. Keep them in front of you at the very least and let your buddies rally and get over there and help you out. But he whiffs and Concepcion takes it to the house.
6 receiving touchdowns in total for Concepcion. And now 3rd and 11.
First charge timeout, NC State.
So we'll step aside. 3rd and 11 for Dave Dorn of the Pack, leading Clemson. ACC football on the CW is brought to you by Verizon. My plan, the plan for fans. Bates, get fired up for this 4th quarter between NC State and Clemson. A long-time ACC rivalry. Tigers have won 9 of the last 10 in the series. That victory, though, for NC State a couple of seasons ago right here in Raleigh. Morris, quick release at the 30 and caught. A couple of yards after the catch for Timmons Jr. 8 yards on the play.
Akuba. Again, letting those routes in front, coming up and making the stop. And he's got to punt this one away.
Noonkester to punt to Green. He's standing back there near his own 25-yard line. Green has it just beyond the 25. 4.4 seconds of hang time and a 38-yard punt. Caden Noonkester. 12:39 to go in the fourth. We talked about it, James, at the top of the broadcast. A crossroads game in the season for both teams at 4-3. Clemson uncharacteristically at 2-3 in conference play as the defending champs in the ACC, beating North Carolina in the title game. NC State is 1-2 in the conference, 2-2 at home.
Yeah, pretty good outing there for Kate Klubnik in that 2022 ACC championship game. Both of these teams trying to scrap and find a way to get back in the win column here.
It's a pass on the run. Past the 35 and a first down. Tyler Brown had the catch.
Right back to that air, these quick throws. And it's a defensive front that hasn't been applying quite as much pressure as they were early on. Perhaps getting a little bit winded. Now they're without Peyton Wilson, their leader in the middle of that defense, and an already banged up secondary that Klubnik and the Tigers are going up against here.
7 completed passes in a row by Klubnik. Flag stops this play. He was 6 of 6 on the scoring drive.
Before the snap, ball start, offense, number 10, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Jeff Heiser, our referee this afternoon. Stellato gets flagged for the infraction. Klubnik on that previous scoring drive, finished off by the Maffa run, was 6 of 6 through the air. Ball back to the 31 of the Tigers. Quick look and hit. Tight end, Brittingstool.
Up there with that tempo as they get something good going their way, right over the football, and trying to keep the pedal down on that NC State defense.
5 catches for 70 yards for Brittingstool, and that leads the team. 9 different receivers utilized by Cade Klubnik, the sophomore quarterback from Austin, Texas. Looking right the whole way, got hit, the ball came out, bouncing around to the turf, and Maffa's back there to cover it. Jalen Scott tried to tea kettle the quarterback, Klubnik. The ball knocked away, and the Tigers cover.
This is a lot like that hit against Florida State. Similar situation, and into the third quarter, nobody there for Scott. This one just from behind, and fortunately for the Tigers, they're able to fall on that football. But it's third down and 23 now.
They lost 17 in the 4th second of the game by NC State. The edges will bend. Klubnik on the run. Got rid of it. Sliding grab. Brittingstool sliding up to the 36, still well short of the marker out beyond the 45-yard line of the Tigers. It brings up 4th down.
We showed you the play off the top of the game there in the open. Kalen DeLoach, Florida State, and Death Valley in late September. Clemson going down at the end of the third quarter, looking to make it a 2-touchdown lead. Instead, it was a very similar play. FSU ended up in the end zone at the end of it.
Coit has to backtrack. Try a return. Second best of the ACC in punt returns, but that one just a few yards. Woodends had the special teams tackle.
Back here in Raleigh, it'll be NC State ball, but almost NC State ball down near the goal line. Here's back in September, the play we were talking about, Kalen DeLoach of Florida State. He'll end up with that football, and 56 yards later, it's a touchdown there. Just moments ago, it's Jalen Scott from the other side, able to jar that ball loose. But Maffa able to fall on it, and Clemson punted away. So 9:42 left to play. Tigers down 10.
Pass by Morris may have been tipped.
Get it to Concepcion.
About his day, James. 5 catches, 83 yards. The 2 TDs, also had a 50-yard run.
How about
Concepcion?
his season? Come on.
Fun to watch. Worth the price of admission. Number 10 in red, white, and black for the Pack. 2nd and 10 after the incompletion. Tyler Davis leading the way defensively. Michael Allen had the football. He had white shirts up in his grill quickly and a loss of 2.
Look there at defensive coordinator Wes Goodwin. Trying to pump up his troops here on a 3rd down and 12. Allen has to hang on to that football just like he did there. Second guy in is going to be trying to rip it away.
Two for 10 on 3rd down. One of those 3rd down plays came here in the second half. 72 yards. Touchdown Concepcion. This is a deep ball. Running under it. A one-handed diving attempt. And incomplete. Anthony Smith just couldn't get there. Stops the clock. 8:51 to go in the 4th.
Well, Anthony Smith given another chance here a few times. Similar situation behind the Duke defense 2 weeks ago, but unable to connect. More of the same right there. Just a couple inches off and diving for it, but unable to pull it in. A guy who's really fought hard to earn his way back into this lineup after he was pegged a starter coming into the season, Anthony Smith. But then not the best two-a-day camp.
Before the snap, ball start, offense, number 15, 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
Dave Doran just hoping his defense can hang on going back out there and continue to play some good ball against this Clemson Tiger offense.
Green for the fair catch at midfield, right on the Tuffy NC State logo. 40 yards on the punt from Noonkester from his own end zone. Another chance for the Tigers and Klubnik.
Still all the time in the world, but it showed you last time out. 2 series ago, unable to put the pressure on Klubnik, and they marched right down the field. The 2 touchdown drives have been impressive drives, and NC State making them work. Peyton Wilson looked like he tried to go out there. So you can tell the frustration and the body language of the linebacker right there. And it'll be up to his buddies. 8:44 left to play in regulation.
Best starting field position of the afternoon for the Tigers. Maffa weaving his way. Maffa down the sideline. Trying to outrun the NC State D, and he gets shoved out of bounds. Phil Maffa broke several tackles in battle. Finally bounced him out after a 41-yard gain.
The big man getting all 230 pounds going on it. Maybe a few more there. 6'1", 230. Phil Maffa trying to do it from way downtown. He's already got 2 short yardage touchdowns. And here they're inside the 10 again.
Throw it to the 5. Briningstool. 4 yards on the pass from Klubnik. Thought that bruising run from Maffa. And now Briningstool has 7 grabs in the game. Quickly to the ball and set Tigers. 2nd and goal. Two for 3 in the red zone in the game for Clemson. Klubnik trying to follow his block. It was Maffa leading the way, James, and Klubnik down to the 2.
And again, every single time that you make Clemson snap the football down here near the goal line, it's been such an adventure for Dabo's team. Down low, they've done a good job of protecting it here, but it's a big third down and goal now.
Klubnik to the end zone, broke it up. Randall was the receiver in the end zone. It's Bishop Fitzgerald, number 19 in red, James.
Klubnik tried to put a little bit of air underneath it, but he just didn't lead him enough. And Bishop Fitzgerald doing an excellent job of running underneath and ripping it away and not allowing Randall to go up over the top and bring it in. And so needing 3 points regardless to tie this football game up. Here comes Whites, who's already missed one in this one.
19 yards away for Whites. Ooh, hold your breath moment there for the Tigers, as that one turns in and good. And so Whites makes it 24-17. This will be a history-making day regardless of the outcome. Both of these coaches can hit milestones. Dave Duren can tie Earl Edwards for 77 all-time wins, NC State history. Dabo Swinney can go by Frank Howard with his 166th career victory as the head coach of the Tigers. 15 full seasons on the sideline for the Tigers after being an assistant under our good friend Tommy Bowden in Clemson, South Carolina. Gray watches it go through the end zone. Just inside of 7 minutes to go. And this, really, we've showed you this on a number of occasions, but it bears repeating. It's incredible, James. You have to go back to November of 2011 for back-to-back losses.
Right. Says a lot about this coaching staff, says a lot about that man right there, a lot about the leaders that have come through this program. You know, and that's one thing that NC State has done. And yeah, they don't have quite the record on back-to-back losses that Clemson does and Dabo Swinney does, but the way they played against Duke, it's been a completely different football team after the bye.
This is Morris looking and looking. Incomplete at the 30. And Trevor, all of a sudden, you feel like the Tigers climbing right back into this one after the field goal from Whites a moment ago.
Without question, but courtesy of the running back Maffa establishing that run game, something that Dabo Swinney said he wanted to do coming out of halftime. That's exactly how they get back into their bag offensively. Defensively on the NC State sideline, it's still work to be done, and you can tell from the coaching style here. It's active, it's conversational, it's a lot of energy. Not in the sense that there's any panic, but rather that they understand that there's still a job to do, and they've done a decent job of it thus far.
Last two drives prior to this one, Trevor, with Concepcion trying to break through. The last two drives, just 6 plays and 0 yards. And now, all of a sudden, it's third down for NC State.
Yeah, and this is one thing that they can't afford to do, I was going to say, coming into this series is just try to play soft and conservative. There's a lot of time in this football game, and they didn't right off the bat, but the drop by Gray is one thing they've been able to avoid, one thing that was really, really bad against Duke. But here it comes back to rear its ugly head, and now it's a third down and 9. Clemson, here they come.
Just 2 third down conversions on the afternoon for NC State. The pass up beyond the 35, and it's a first down to Lassane for the pack as he beats Sheridan Jones 13 yards.
Great job by the pack to pick up the blitz and keep that pocket, although tight, clean for M.J. Morris, and he throws a strike. The only way it could have been delivered. Lassane hangs on, and they'll move the chains. What a huge third down pickup.
Just the second catch of the game for Lassane, but it's an enormous one for the first down. Just a third down conversion of the game. Morris again wants to pump it up. Now he gets out of the pocket. Fancy footwork to the 40, just barely shoestring tackled by Jeremiah Trotter Jr. And 2 yards on the play for Morris.
Nice job by the All-American linebacker Jeremiah Trotter. We saw him just moments ago. He took the right angle to take down Concepcion. And this time he gets those shoelaces on M.J. Morris. What would have been a big hitter, perhaps a first down and then some.
12th year on the staff for defensive coordinator Wes Goodwin. Second year as defensive coordinator. And a hit like that as that pass sails incomplete from Morris. Tried to find Lassane.
Tried to sell that play action fake hard, and then I believe it was Trotter right there in the face of Morris as he let it go. And a smart football play by Jeremiah Trotter to ease up. So many times we see guys get that free shot at the quarterback, and they lay a big hit on him and get the flag, give him a freebie instead. He lays off, incomplete pass, and here's another 3rd and long.
And the Pack do it again from the 40. Morris got rid of it. Not sure the receiver was ready, James Juice-Marine. Sheridan Jones in coverage, 4th down.
Yeah, Juice-Marine, I mean, it hit him just right in the chest. And just here in the last few moments, 2 big drops by Dave Doran's receivers. And that would have been a first down.
Let it bounce. Rolling around near the 6 or 7 and touched by NC State. Gonna mark it up near the 8. 4:23 on the game clock. 53 yards on the punt.
Hey, that guy right there, 44, Narveson. Man, he's been fantastic. Great punt. Every time we've been out here to Raleigh, we've seen him pinning the opponents deep. Looking like a little bit like a Boskin, like a mini Boskin. Well, look at him. He's got the blonde hair shaved up and just needs some of those Brian Bosworth stripes with that 44 on.
That's a kicker with attitude. Made a 41-yarder for NC State in the second quarter. Narveson made a 57-yarder, the only points of the game against Duke 2 weeks ago. Overload to the right side, Tigers from deep in their own territory. Trying to get some breathing room out near the 15-yard line. Troy Stellato. About 6 catches and 6 yards on the play for Stellato. Season high 30 completions in the game for Klubnik. Maffa.
Now you're in a situation where you'd like to go NASCAR like that tempo when they've been at their best. Here it's been when the tempo's been on, but at the same time you can take your time. Here's a 3rd down and short. I guess first things first. 3 timeouts left for the Tigers.
The 20-yard line and beyond it for Brittingstool. First down. Boykin on the tackle. How about 8 catches in the game? A season high for Jake Brittingstool.
Coming off those 5 catches and 2 touchdowns a week ago down in Miami, Florida.
Klubnik just fires that one to the NC State sideline. Well, C10 streaking across the field, James. That's Stellato.
Yeah, but Klubnik was on the run over there towards the sideline. Didn't have a chance to look back at Stellato. Give him catch number 7.
school. 14 catches between them in the game for Klubnik. Delay, handoff, Maffa. The bruiser past the 25-yard line. Stayed in bounds, clock still runs. Sean Brown the tackle. Clock will stop on a first down in the final 2 minutes of the quarter. 6 yards on the play. Crunch time in Raleigh. 2.5 minutes to go.
They didn't get it all. There's a flag. Call timeout or?
Referee is Jeff Heiser.
Play clock operator never reset the play clock. We will redo this play. It'll be third down. Please check the game clock.
Will they review it just to see how much? So the play clock operator here in Carter-Finley didn't reset the play clock. So there you have it. And it's already, as they get set, it's under 10. So, but I don't know how, if he didn't reset the play clock, how you can review anything. They'll probably just come out and have to play this thing with a new play clock.
Coach Doran trying to tie for the most wins from a head coach in NC State history. And his team in front right now with 2:20 on the clock. This will be 3rd and 4 after they get this all sorted out. We'll take you right on the field with referee cam and right in the middle of the action. We showed you that game-clinching interception by Virginia a week ago, and its upset win against North Carolina from ref cam. And now we're ready to crank it up. Clock is rolling. Late in the 4th. 24-17, and it's 3rd down for the Tigers.
See if Gibson dials up some pressure here. Put it in the face of Klubnik.
Maffa bashes his way a little bit short. Sean Brown on a stop. 3 yards from Maffa. Maybe a yard or so, James. Maybe a yard or so.
Well, and a good job by the safety to step up there and force a 4th down and short. Ball game.
First attempt on 4th down in the game as the clock continues to run. 137, 136. Here's a snap. Klubnik has to improvise. He's got room. He's got a 1st down. And out near the 40, Cade Klubnik for the Clemson Tigers. 9 yards on the scamper and a fresh set of downs.
Well, they've held him in check, using his legs throughout the day. And this time, he tucks it, gets outside, and able to move those chains and keep this game alive. 1:28 left to play now.
Hand off. Maffa reversing direction, spinning up towards midfield and about a yard short of a 1st down. 9 on the rush by Maffa. Tigers have to hurry up. Timeout. Dabo Swinney and Clemson. How about Phil Maffa, James? 15 carries, 82 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
There's another good look at it from that ref can. Big bodies like Will Putnam, the center up there, just paving the way for Maffa on the 1st down carry. A big chunk of change there to make it 2nd down and 1. bat an eye, and now there's 1:15 left to go here in the fourth. Still 3 timeouts, though, or 2 rather, for Dabo Swinney and his Tigers.
Able to call that running play, James, because he had the full complement of timeouts. 69 of the 82 yards for Maffa in the second half. TD runs for his head coach in the second quarter, and here in the fourth as well, both 1 yard away from Maffa. 24-17. All you can ask for, Bates, in the Textile Bowl. NC State and Clemson.
Wolfpack just needs to continue to make them earn it. Don't give up the big hitter. Keep them in front.
Klubnik has the time. Diving attempt at midfield. Stellato, but there was no gain.
Yeah, they'll do just that. Talk about keeping them in front. Clock won't stop. No gain.
Inside of a minute to go, James. Maffa on the run. Got the first down, which will stop the clock. You get the first down. 51 seconds to go. Let's go, says Dabo.
He wants him over that ball and set. Here goes the clock.
They set it. They roll the clock. Klubnik back to pass. Straight drop. Has to just dump it off to Maffa, trying to get to the sideline. He dives there and stops the clock. On the NC State side of the 50 into pack territory, although a loss of 2.
Again, Tom, this secondary has just locked down these receivers of Clemson. You know, the intermediate routes a few times here in the pockets of that zone, but for the most part, they have clamped down. And time after time, you've seen Klubnik just having to dump it off.
He's thrown the football 48 times in the game. Wants to do it again. Felt the pressure. Couldn't get away. Tried to get rid of it. He was dragged down. That was Van.
Couple things here. Does this ball make it back to the line of scrimmage? Is he down? They'll take a look at it. Look at the hustle by Van, and he is down. He's down.
The ruling on the field for the moment was incomplete pass.
The previous play was an incomplete pass. The play is under further review.
Yeah, they're going to take a look at that one. 31 seconds to go. You saw from our replay, there may be, James, indisputable video evidence to overturn the call, which on the field was incomplete pass by Klubnik. That's Davin Van in pursuit.
So he is down. That shouldn't take too long for them to review. And you talk about impressive. Big Devin Van, his hustle throughout this game. He has been a big difference. And look at these guys down the field. Just nowhere to go. Wow.
So Jeff Heiser is taking a look at the replay. Although it appeared that we had indisputable video evidence. From that replay, this is what the officials are looking at. In conjunction with the command center, Charlotte, North Carolina. Charlotte, just about the midway point between these two schools. Raleigh, North Carolina, Clemson, South Carolina. The 91st all-time meeting is going right down to the wire. 31 seconds to go. James, how about our last 3 weeks on the CW? What do you think? Can you handle it? And the NC State Marshall game.
After further review, the runner was down at the 43-yard line. It'll be third down. Clemson will take a timeout to prevent a 10-second runoff. Timeout, Clemson.
So that's the second timeout used by the Tigers. Loss of 7 on the play, as there was indisputable video evidence to overturn the call, which initially was incomplete pass. Here's your evidence, James.
Well, had he gotten rid of it, then they would have had to have taken a look. I don't think that ball made it to the line of scrimmage.
If they had upheld the incomplete pass, but we had plenty of evidence to the fact that he was certainly down in a loss of 7. Timeout taken, 1 to go. It's been
Whole lot more than one, Tom, to go for the first down now. 3rd and 19, and obviously you're going to use all 4 downs. But a long way to go in a short time to get there.
3rd and long for Klubnik. Got rid of it, incomplete. And now it's 4th down. Teams played at Raleigh in 2021 and a win for NC State. Both teams. Clemson was number 9 in the nation. Double overtime and a win for the Pack. And the first win for Dave Doran against a top 10 team. Trying to take out the Tigers for a second straight time at home. 1 for 1 on 4th down. With 25 seconds to go, here is your football game.
They need the 38-yard line of NC State.
Klubnik has time to look. Whistles are going to stop the play.
Second charge timeout. NC State, 30 seconds.
So NC State elected to call a timeout. So Dave Doran is 21 seconds away from his 77th win as the head coach of NC State. And this, James, after the week off, where they had a chance to refocus, reevaluate things, after a performance that they characterized to us as sporadic against Duke, where they only scored 3 points in a losing effort.
And in that meeting yesterday, last coach we met with was Dave Doran. Last thing I asked him, you know, of course he's going to say yes. But when I said, as we were getting, I said, are they going to respond? And just the look in his eye, it was almost like, well, they better. And they certainly have.
And he said they had good confidence coming out of the Marshall game. James, where they defeated Marshall 48-41, and MJ Morris threw 4 TD passes.
Yeah, and he talked about how surprised he was. He felt like it was a great week of practice, and he'd never had such a good week of practice to play so poorly like they did against Duke. They've had 2 weeks to get ready for this one, and it's down to 1 play now for Dabo and the Tigers on the road.
4th and 19 for Klubnik. Out of the pocket, trying to extend the play. Throws it up for grabs. Incomplete. Ball on the turf. Turnover on downs with 14 seconds to go for the Pack.
Just buying all the time that he could. There comes that late pressure in the face from Sean Brown, and a chance by Tyler Brown down at the other end of that throw, but defenders in there able to rip it away. Johnny from Karate Kid is fired up.
NC State had lost 3 of its last 4 games against Duke. Got the week off and came out with a performance to win this game against their longtime rival. Dave Doran, 77 wins at NC State, and he ties the legend Earl Edwards for most in school history. 24-17, the win here in Raleigh, and back-to-back losses for Dabo and the Tigers for the first time since November of 2011.
What an amazing run, and another run of, I believe it's 12 straight seasons of 10 wins, and there you see Dabo talking to Peyton Wilson, giving him a pat on the hat after this game. And even with a bowl game, it won't be 10 wins this season. They won't be able to make it to 10 wins.
And the turnovers critical once again, James. Peyton Wilson, the interception returned for a touchdown. The other interception by Devin Boykin turned into 7 points. And that creates the difference this afternoon against the Clemson Tigers. Going on the road against NC State and Peyton Wilson. What a diving touchdown by Wilson and a 15-yard TD return.
Well, and hopefully, football fans, unless he's playing your team the rest of the way, you really want to see him get healthy. Let's get it down to a victorious Dave Doran with Trevor Scales.
Coach, an incredible win for you here, especially on homecoming, to do so and capture the single career record for wins as a head coach. To do so in this fashion, what does it mean to you?
Thank you, God. It means a lot. These kids have faith. I knew we were going to win this game. I told them that on Tuesday. I walked into the team meeting. I said, we're going to win the game, and here's what my speech is going to be about. And I told them, I love these guys, and I'm proud of them. And I wish more people had faith in them. I sure as hell do.
Where does that faith come from? What do you see in that locker room on a day-to-day basis?
Heart, spirit, love, perseverance, grit, all the stuff our world needs. And tell Steve Smith in the studio, this ain't a basketball school. He can kiss my ass.
Fellas?
By the way, not our studio. Here at the CW, we expected another amazing football game at James. That's exactly what we got. And it's interesting. You referenced the meetings that we had with Dave Doran and his coaching staff and the attitude that he portrayed to us. And you saw the emotion in the coach with Trevor and what this means to him as far as the wins to tie Earl Edwards, but way beyond that, believing in his team.
Yeah, that's something I think that maybe this summer he's sitting out on the lake where he might say, hey, that's pretty special. But right now you can tell all that matters is that he and his guys fought, and they fought to figure it out. He was so confused that they practiced so well heading into that Duke game, and they played so poorly. Just things snowballed, and the drop passes and the penalties, but they were clean. They had a couple drops late in the second half here tonight, but they were clean on the penalty front. And this is a Clemson football team that's been a thorn in everybody's side. Everybody wants to beat them, and they're down a little bit right now, but still at the end of the day, they've got some big time players too. And for them to come in here and get this win, it's huge. And you could see it right there in his face. And if you didn't believe it when I said just a few moments ago that he said we're going to be ready to play, well, he told them on Tuesday, we are going to be ready to play and we're going to win this football game. And they found a way to do it. And you know what? They found a way. He's hung his hat on that defensive side of the ball through a lot of his career. And Tony Gibson, his defensive coordinator, that secondary was maybe one of the most impressive things today for me. They locked down on those receivers and did a fantastic job of shutting down Clemson's receivers. Yeah, they had 2 interceptions in the return in the second half by Peyton Wilson, the first of his career. 15 yards off a tip ball, James, and the effort soaring through the air like Superman to keep that ball inside the pylon and get the 7 points. 14 total points off of turnovers in the game for NC State. If you're Clemson, you look right at that score sheet, James, and you look at the turnovers once again. Coming into the game, they've given up 50 points off turnovers, another 14 in the game this afternoon. And this schedule doesn't get any easier at all for the Clemson Tigers. And, a team, they're in these uncharted waters of losing 3 games just coming in, and now they sit at 4-4 this late in the season to sit at 500. It just can't feel right for that Clemson fan base, and it's a team, and Dabo Swinney telling us, hey, buy stock in the Tigers right now because we're going to be coming back. Well, they had a tough time today on the road against Peyton Wilson, him walking around slapping hands like that has got to be good news for the Wolfpack. And MJ Morris, it wasn't like he was a world beater today, but you know what? Sometimes you don't have to be. Just take care of that football and manage the offense and play within the scheme, play within the system. And that's just what he's done here today and what he did against Marshall in his first start of this year. You see what he's got in his hand there? He's hanging on to that game ball. Now, someone else who should have his hands on that game ball, Casey Concepcion, freshman. When we spoke to Robert and I, the player he identified as the lead singer of this group, and Robert and I said, we need more lead singers, and maybe Morris is one of them, and certainly Peyton Wilson, but on the offensive side of the ball, what did he say? We need more lead singers. Well, today,
You had one lead singer who hit every single note and had 2 receiving TDs from Morris during the course of the afternoon.
Yeah, and he wants to have more lead singers. He wants to have, he wants to have like a new edition when they were young, because Casey Concepcion is so young. Yes, I was thinking more Mr. Telephone.
Got it.
But Concepcion, there's a good look at him right there. Lucky fan getting a selfie right there to take it home. But and showing you right there why Robert and I fight so hard to get the ball in his hands. We saw him play that running back spot again here today. We've seen him on the jet sweeps throughout the year, and of course catching the ball and going 72 yards on a 3rd down and 3. Certainly not bad, and that's after the 50-yard run, setting up his own touchdown.
That's exactly what I was just going to say. In the first half, he set up his own TD. It was a drive of 60 yards. He had 59 of those yards on the drive with the rush for 50 and then the 9-yard TD pass. And he got himself open. He got the touchdown, then the 72-yarder where he broke away from the defender, yards after catch. That's what he does. And here are our final numbers.
Yeah, and I think the biggest one is that, too. The 2 turnovers. And you see the penalties. It was only 1 penalty in the second half after 3 pretty big ones in the first half for Clemson. And rushing yards, just 100 rushing yards for the Tigers. Only 64 for NC State. Heck, only 138 passing yards, and you take out a couple of those big chunks. And that's why Casey Concepcion, the difference, and able to convert those turnovers into points. And of course, Peyton Wilson not wasting any time to give it back to the offense. He did it right away.
I want to ask you about one other thing.
Go ahead.
Dave Dorn, in his interview with Trevor Scales, said, I walked into the meeting and said, we're going to win this game. I mean, that's a big request of your ball club. They had lost 9 of the last 10 against the Clemson Tigers, who had won 7 of the last 8 ACC championships. Now, granted, Clemson was 2-3 in conference play, something they are not used to. But for Dave Dorn to walk in with that confidence, especially, James, off the loss against Duke, where you scored 3 points 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, and have to sit on that bye week. And so it's, a lot of times, hey, you have a loss, but you're right back into the grind, right back into that bubble in meetings and practice and then to school. And so you don't really have time to stew on it and mope. What you do when it's a bye week and you're thinking the last game out, and yeah, these guys are young and resilient, but it's still just sitting there, and you're kind of reminded when you go to class, hey, you guys didn't look very good in Durham a couple weeks ago. But he's letting them know that, like you said, hey, maybe everybody else out there doesn't believe in you, but I believe in you. And sometimes that's all it takes. Sometimes it's more fun when it's your head coach and your teammates, and it's you against the world, even some of your own fan base, you against the world, and you go on the road into other places, people's places, and beat up on them, or do it here in front of your hometown crowd. So it was a big-time win for Dave Dorn and his troops here today.
Credit to the Tigers for pulling within 1 score of NC State, but what a homecoming for the folks that gathered. We had a tremendous crowd inside Carter-Finley Stadium, and they go home with a homecoming victory. Thanks for watching ACC football on the CW. Our final score from Raleigh, 24-17 Pack. Tune in next week for a battle between Georgia Tech and Virginia. Our coverage starts 2 Eastern right here on the CW. For James Bates, Trevor Scales, and our fantastic crew, I'm Tom Wormy. Thanks so much for watching, and so long from Raleigh, North Carolina.
Look, Clemson has been struggling. They're not the Clemson we've loved over the years. But NC State, unfortunately, they're waiting for basketball to start.
Yeah, you're right.
Do it. Okay, so that was College Game Day this morning.
Uh-oh.
Heard, written down,
Basketball
taken,
Jones.
made note of,
Noted.
and
Jones.
Clemson, NC State going to go
Receipts
head-to-head.
kept.
How about MJ Morris?
This
Roll
play
right, KC,
it was
9.
absolutely beautiful. Coming from the complete other side, rolls them out perfectly. It was unbelievable.
Then Cade Klubnik trying to get his team back in it. Nice pass there to Bo Collins for 28 yards.
Oh, this was
Throw it
nice
up
to
to your
see.
big receiver. They hardly ever complete these. It was good to see him do it.
Bro.
That wasn't a shot.
Later in that same drive, scary moment here because Cade Klubnik goes to Will Shipley, who's trying hard to get into the end zone, but he takes a tough hit right there. Scary moment as he goes down. Good news, though, he was able to walk off the field on his own, but would not come back in the game. Next play is running mate Phil Maffa, going to finish it off, punches it in. It's a 10-7 game going into the half, and then Cade Klubnik drops back, and EJ, you do not want this to happen if you're Clemson.
Yeah, you don't. Look, at the end of the day, this is a defensive tackle getting his hand up.
gets his ball to Peyton Wilson, the linebacker who takes it in for a touchdown.
Then MJ Morris slings it to Concepcion again, EJ.
Yeah, look, this is an excellent throw. I also like the isolation here. You have the whole wide side of the football field for KC to go to work, and he won right there.
So, start of the fourth. Can Clemson answer? Phil Maffa punches it in. Emac, we got a little life.
Yeah, you know, every time I see this, I think, is this about to be a fumble highlight?
Why get his hopes up?
38 seconds left in the game. And Davin Van comes up with the sack. 7-yard loss. Last-ditch effort coming from Clemson. What do you see?
Not a good play right here. This is not what you want. You want to get an opportunity to throw it up to your big receiver or something. Just kind of chaos right here, and didn't end well for Clemson.
It did not end well for Clemson, but it did end well for NC State. 24-17, the final as Dave Doran gets win.
Yeah, coach.
Number 77 at NC State, tying Earl Edwards for the most in program history.
See you next
Coach,
week.
what happened
better
this
be after
morning?
this.
What do you want to say about your team?
I knew we were going to win this game. I told them that on Tuesday. I walked into the team meeting. I said, we're going to win the game, and here's what my speech is going to be about. And I told them, I love these guys, and I'm proud of them. And I wish more people had faith in them. I sure as hell do.
Where does that faith come from? What do you see in that locker room on a day-to-day basis?
Heart, spirit, love, perseverance, grit, all the stuff our world needs. And tell Steve Smith in the studio, this ain't a basketball school. He can kiss my
All right, I heard loud and clear. I don't know if anybody wants that smoke from Steve Smith, but Dave Doran said he doesn't care.
I can't wait to see him next week, man. This is going to be so fun.
We're going to be there,
Tell him he
as
made
you
a
said,
mistake.
next week for
You
that
picked the wrong
game
guy.
against Miami. Miami took care of business as well. So he doesn't care. He's going to say what he wants and stick up for his team, and he probably should because they come out with another big win over Clemson today.
They did, and they did a great job, and Tony Gibson's doing a heck of a job with that defense.
Yeah.
I love what I'm seeing. Sean Brown had another big day as well, but Peyton Wilson, I mean, this dude is all over the field. He's doing it all, and Clemson's got some work to do.
Yeah, I think Peyton Wilson, Defensive Player of the Year. I don't know if there's a way to, kind of get around that. Maybe, your boy from Virginia Tech, maybe he keeps getting those sacks. But when I look at this guy, man, he just makes all kinds of plays. And just to kind of look at Clemson real quick, man, they got just a ton of tiny issues that are leading up to really big things. And to me, the two things that have stuck out, probably the most is the turnovers that occur that then lead to massive offensive plays, like back-to-back, if they don't score, on that turnover, which we saw that today. So that's been a massive issue, the defense being put in horrible situations. And then the second thing, Coach Sweeney is 117-4 when he outgains teams by 100 yards. 3 of those losses have occurred in the last 12 months. There are issues at hand here that are compiling so quickly for the Tigers that there's just nothing they can do, and they're in horrible spots.
Yeah, well, it's turnovers, and they're costly turnovers because not only are they game-swinging plays to get the offense for the opposing team the ball back, they're also scoring on them too, and that's going to hurt any team. And it's really hard to come back from that. Be curious to see how long Will Shipley's out, if he is out. I've gotten hit like that before. And it's a tough injury to come back from, especially a running back that's going to take a tackle every single time he gets the football. So just a tough time right now for Clemson. But I will say, Cade Klubnik, he's still progressing. And the more that he gets opportunities to play football, he's going to continue to get better.
You mentioned those turnovers. Clemson, top 10 in the country in points allowed off of turnovers. That's not good. Number 1 in the country in fumbles lost, top 10 in scoring
We talked about responding. I want to see how Clemson responds, right? Because it can't be high hopes in that locker room. Guys are down, right? And Cade, there's nobody else to turn to. Cade's got to be the guy. So I want to see how they respond to this. Because they're not used to being this position.
And that's a good point, because there needs to be a vocal response as well. And it's not just some rah-rah speech. Like, hey, they got to have a real sit-down amongst each other as a team. This is beyond. That's what I'm talking about. This is beyond Coach Sweeney at this point. You guys got to look at each other, because at the end of the day, there's only 11 guys on offense, 11 on defense, and then obviously special teams and all that kind of stuff. But it's you guys on the field that got to make a difference. They do count. Yes, sir.
They lost back-to-back games now for the first time since 2011, and you guys are talking about getting right for their next game. Their next game, host number 14, Notre Dame. So that is going to be another big one